Hi, I'm JimmyNavio.
Hello, everyone. What is up? My name is JimmyNavio, and this is another podcast, another Wednesday night podcast. This is number 6 now, I think. Yeah, we're gonna talk about California a little bit later on because there's some funny shenanigans going on this coast. Thus the title, California What? But I got my co-host with me today, James28. We do not have any guests this week. It's just going to be us two bringing up some topics. Let me adjust that real quick. Discussing a few things. We might go a little deep on the Minion Masters changes that are coming, since some of you out there do follow Minion Masters. Probably going to talk about E3 a little bit. We have a Sheefs Beef coming our way. And we're just gonna have a good chill time. It's a little less structured this week, but we got some things we're gonna talk about. We're gonna flesh them out. We're gonna go deep. So I'll bring James on here in just a moment. But first, let me see here. I'm still trying to, real quick, a couple announcements. Number one, everyone needs to go watch Gator Pete's VOD from today. That shit was hilarious. He did his dumb shit under 30, basically. Dumb stuff under 30. Basically, everyone in his community submitted stuff that was under $30 on Amazon that was like ridiculous, and then they did a giveaway based around that stuff. It was a lot of fun. Hey, professional podcast. The Sammy Cat wants to be a part of the show. That's a tail in my face. We all submitted stuff. It was a lot of fun. Go check that out. Also, Sammy and Tustar are still doing their month-long event. I'm still trying to get them as guests on the show. So hopefully before the month is out, we will be bringing you a podcast with Sammy and Tustar. They're just crazy busy right now with everything going on. It's a busy month for everyone. So that is still in the works. So now that that's out of the way, oh, and that's a cat butt. Let's just move along, Sam. Let's just get out of here. Whoa. Okay, that was bad. We're gonna keep going. Well, I'm gonna bring my co-host on now. Whoop. And there he is. Don't forget to unmute yourself. Oh, there you are.
Oh yeah.
You're on the show.
I am.
You are. You are here.
This is a surprise.
You are present. How you doing, man? What you been up to?
Pretty good. Just had my 3-year anniversary with my girlfriend today. I spent time with her.
What'd you do? I want details. Come on, man.
I was at her house. We watched Netflix. It was pretty nice.
You watched Netflix on your anniversary, dude? You gotta step up your game, bro.
I can't. Her job is basically to watch her siblings, so I'm not allowed to like take her from her house.
All right, well.
But yeah, it was good. We were watching the newest season of Supernatural because she loves that show, even though it's really, really not that great.
Why not? Come on. My Lady Navio also watches that show.
I'm not surprised.
So watch it. Watch it.
It's not a bad show if you just want to sit down and enjoy a show. But if you're looking for something like deep, it's not for you.
So yeah, I heard that like it's one of those shows where they just kind of ran out of ideas, so they just start doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like it has a problem with escalation, right?
Look like you could use a pork bun.
I forgot to turn those off. We might have to turn off those notifications. Sorry, guys. Sam just spilled stuff on my desk, so I'm a little preoccupied. Lady Navio, I might need a little help.
Watch your mouth, Lady Navi. You know that there's an issue with escalation.
Yeah.
It went from like Monster of the Week type thing, which is always an interesting concept, to where it's like, okay, we defeated Satan. What's next? Satan Mach 2.
Yeah,
oh,
like
what's next?
They used to be like super terrified whenever they encountered like a single demon, right? Mm-hmm. Or whatever. And then like later on, it's like, oh yeah, we just kicked 20 demons' ass. Like
holy Santa Claus,
pretty much. Like, so it's easy to enjoy. Just don't like Just don't look into the background. Ignore each season as it happens. Just remember the characters and what they did.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe just like take each episode for what it's worth and forget everything else that happened and just enjoy the entertainment value of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, because she's seen like all the seasons like so many times. I'm just jumped into the last one, so I'm just like, I don't know who these characters are. Oh, this guy was dead and now he's back. All right.
See, that's something I have trouble doing in general. Maybe it's just a guy versus girl thing. I don't know. I have a hard time rewatching anything. Lady Navio can rewatch stuff over and over and over again. Like I think she's seen The Office like at least 20 times all the way through.
I have friends like that, yeah.
I could probably use a few towels. He spilled my entire drink. Yes. Probably a couple, actually. I don't think it went on the floor. All right, professionals. My cat just literally spilled my whole blue cup on my desk. So we're cleaning that up right now. I hope it wasn't a good drink. It was. He probably wasted like $4 just now.
No. That was one expensive drop.
Yeah. He wanted my attention and he got it. But yeah, she just walked down here and told me she's literally watching The Office again right now. So speak of the devil. So I'm going to let you take the lead for a minute, James. And
okay.
I want you to go ahead and explain what is going on in the world of Minion Masters.
Oh, all right.
And I'm going to pull up that link in just a second. But
just so I can remember everything.
For those who don't know, Minion Masters is the game that got me into streaming, and that's how I met James. And there is a lot of really crazy, somewhat controversial, some good, some bad changes. And they shoot themselves in the foot, I feel like, because they keep changing the game and like alienating half of their community.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be too bad, like some other sweeping changes that's happened, but I don't know. I feel like some people will leave.
Yeah,
but definitely not the people that are complaining the most.
Oh, really? The ones who are complaining the most, will you think they'll stick around?
Oh yeah, like they're complaining a lot, but it's like, I know you're not leaving.
Yeah,
you just want to complain.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I stopped playing for a while, because I found myself complaining a little too much. So I was like, I'm just gonna step away, and I'll revisit it every once in a while and see how they're doing, because it wasn't. I don't know. Expeditions is kind of what made me take a break.
Yeah, like people talk about it, and it's like ever since Expeditions was released, I've never touched it unless there was a reason to, by way of like the locked away content, like with a card or some type of content. That was the only time I ever went in. Yeah,
like seasons or unlocks or things like that. There was really no other reason to play the game. I mean, but it sounds like they are going to be adding quite a few things that will improve like replayability and progression and things like that. Like season passes and season rewards and things like that. So I am excited about some of those changes. Do you know if they left the VOD up from some of that stuff that they showed?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's actually in the link to the Reddit post I gave you. I can just send you the VOD link right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we might take a look at that in a second, because some of that stuff was interesting, like the whole star system and stuff.
Yeah, the glory system.
Yeah. So first, I'm going to pull this up. Let's go to our media view. And for those of you who are not interested in Minion Masters, sorry, but we're gonna cover some of this because it's important to some folks out there.
And if you would like a free key, hit me up. I can get you one in like the next hour.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Maybe we'll do some Minion Masters keys giveaways or something. Okay, I'm gonna blow this up here so you guys can read it. Dev stream summary. So I think one of the biggest changes is the battle pass. I think this is like a huge necessary step to get people coming back and playing the game. So do you want to just kind of break that down a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. So the battle pass is essentially, it's going to be 1,500 rubies is what I think they said. Actually should be on here somewhere. doesn't look like it. So about $10, like US, and it's essentially you buy this battle pass. It comes with the free-to-play tier, which is just like free rewards after you accrue a certain amount of XP, and the paid tier comes with new skins, more cards. There's one exclusive like new emote that you can get, which is like a devil puff, and I think that's it. Maybe gold. I know there's some ruby rewards as well, which will give you back some of the money you spent on it, but it's essentially, it works exactly like it does in Fortnite, where each Minion Master is going to have a season, and you can get those seasons cards and unlocks through it. And it's essentially the way Beta Dwarf is trying to monetize the game without like adding pay to win features and stuff like that.
Right. So all the content that you could get from the Battle Pass, you could otherwise accrue for free. The Battle Pass just is going to speed up the process significantly, right?
Yes. Which some people are saying seems pay to win, but a lot of us are like, it's not really. It's just more rewards if you're willing to put down the money.
I mean, it's not unlike many other season Battle Pass systems.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's, people already paid for premium and now they are making people pay more. Well, making is a strong word there, because you don't have to buy the battle pass. For people like me who bought premium, and I'm just sitting on a ton of rubies and gold and stuff, like, because you use rubies, right? You use the premium currency to buy it.
Yes.
So rubies is the like premium currency that has an associated value conversion to US dollars, but a lot of us have just accrued a lot of rubies and don't have anything to spend them on. So in my case, I could probably buy the first couple battle passes without even spending any money. Like I'm just sitting on a bunch of rubies because I had premium. So they're not making me buy the battle pass with money. I mean,
yeah, and I actually want to check if the premium gives you rubies, because then you could just buy premium and then you get basically a free battle pass.
You get some of it back, right? Depending on how much you play, probably.
Yeah, the one they showed us on stream, I think it was at like tier 7, it was like you get 50 rubies back. Okay, so when you do buy the premium upgrade, you get 2,500 rubies, which means you could just straight up buy the season pass.
So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's reasonable. I mean, they have to make money.
Yeah, that's what I kept telling people. It's like, look, how many ways can you actually think about monetization of the game so they can keep the servers online? Because for a lot of us that put in a lot of time and effort, we're not spending money.
Right. And I guess for me, what it really comes down to is like, I paid for the premium because I wanted to support what I thought was a unique game that didn't exist in the Steam marketplace, right? Like, there's no game exactly like it on Steam. It's got a niche that I think is pretty cool. I mean, people compare it to Battle Royale, but you can't buy Battle Royale on Steam, you know? So like, yeah, it really is a unique market that I mean, I paid for premium more to support the game than to get some cosmetic items or whatever. So like, for those who want to support it, they can, but for those who don't, I mean, it's still a reasonable amount of time to unlock things. Skins just like every game. Well, that's what it is though, Wrath. Like, you can still buy skins straight up with rubies. The battle pass gives you, so if you didn't get the battle pass, you can still unlock all the same stuff, but it'll probably cost you more. The whole point of the battle pass is to say, hey, if you pay for the battle pass and you put in a few hours, the rewards you're going to get back from doing that are going to be more than if you just went into the shop and paid straight up rubies for all this stuff. Right? Yeah, like that's the incentive.
The only exclusive stuff in the battle pass is going to be the 2 or 3 skins they put in it, which they said you're going to be able to buy at another time later on, because they don't want it to be like one and done, like you can never get them again. And the one emote that they added.
Yeah, they said they would make the exclusive skins available every once in a while, right? Like, so people who didn't get them during the season would still have a chance later on to pay for them. but they may be more or less expensive.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's reasonable. I want them. I don't want them to fail. I want Minion Masters to continue to be able to keep the lights on and develop their game. Just because I don't agree with some of their creative decisions, I still want it to succeed. And I think this is a reasonable pay model that most people will probably be okay with. So I don't know. I'm okay with it. What are the
new cards?
Well, no. Before we get there, what are the naysayers saying about the Battle Pass? Is there any like counters to it that people are saying like?
A lot of the counter argument to this is just about the season cards, because the way they want this to work out is there's the base set of like the 103 cards that currently exist, and then they're going to add 8 new season cards each season. So there's the 8 that are coming with this season. Tomorrow is when they said they're definitely planned for release. Like they said, we're all ready to ship it. It's going to come tomorrow. And that's where some of the resentment has come from, because some people are saying you have to buy the battle pass if you want to get the new cards like at a fast pace,
right? Because
these new cards only come from tokens that you will get from leveling up the battle pass.
I see.
That we don't have concrete evidence. Like they haven't told us if you can just buy those tokens with gold.
Okay. So it's more like people are upset about something that's not even for sure yet. Like they're just speculating on like.
Yeah, and it's because you can still craft the new cards, but they're gonna cost you 3 times as many shards.
Okay.
So if you want the new legendary, it's gonna cost you 6,000 shards instead of the 2,000.
I see. I don't like they made pretty much every card uncraftable and they are removing shards. That's what Wrath says. What do you
see? Because it's not that they're uncraftable. It's that in the new system, when you open a new token, if you get a duplicate card, it immediately gets turned into shards and glory. Glory will just upgrade whatever card that was, and then shards you'll just now have to keep like accruing that way. You can't salvage. You can't hit the salvage button and just like
get straight shards.
Yeah.
So
you still get those shards just immediately after you open the token.
Yeah, you still get shards. They just now your cards are upgradable. When you get duplicates, it upgrades your card, and then it also gives you some shards. And then you can still use shards to craft cards, right? Like the ones you don't have.
Yes.
So that system's not going away. They're just kind of tweaking it and streamlining it. Like, which makes sense, I guess, because it always felt kind of weird that it's like, oh, you got a duplicate, now you have to go salvage it, now you get the shards. Like, it was an extra step that shouldn't exist. Because like for example, a good example of this is Quake Champions. In Quake Champions, when you get a duplicate item, it just straight up says like duplicate, and then it gives you however many currency instead of sticking it in your inventory and then you have to go salvage it to get the. Because there's really, other than like people who wanted to have like as a joke, like there were people who had like 100 scrap pack cards. Like it's useless. Like once you have 3, there's no reason to have more other than to say, look, I collected 100 of these cards. Like there's no.
And that's what some people were saying.
Yeah, like some people
they're like, I collected them to collect them, and it's like, but there's no reason to.
Right, they were useless. It was more just like a trophy, like dick measuring contest, right? Like, look at all my scrap packs. Like, it was more of a meme than anything else. There was no use for it. It was just an extra step for no reason. So all they did was streamline that and say, hey, if you get a duplicate, we're just gonna give you the currency because there's no point to have more than 3 of anything. So that makes sense to me. I have no problem with that. It sounds like, are they going to give you less shards since now part of it goes to upgrading the card? Is there? I don't think.
What we saw on the dev stream, they were getting about 15 shards, and I don't know if that's more or less.
Okay.
Because like since I have a pretty large collection, I just stopped buying tokens because I don't really need duplicates of the legendaries, and I already had 3 of each other card. So it's been a while since I've seen how many you get per like disenchant. I think it's still like it was like 400 or 500 for a legendary, and then it scales down to like 5 for a common.
So here's my only legitimate beef with any of these changes.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me do. Damn it. All right. My only legitimate beef with these changes is that if they're going to implement this pay model and structure and like you pay for seasons and stuff, it's time to make the game free to play. I know you're in early access and whatnot, but like, don't you still have to pay for it? I mean, yeah, you can get a free key from a friend or whatever, but if someone just goes to Steam right now and wants to get Minion Masters, they have to pay for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's cool. I don't like having to pay for a game and then pay for seasons. Like
Seasons kind of a dick move.
That feels shitty to me. Like, I don't like games. Like, I never liked a game where it's like, oh, you have to pay for this game. Oh, you want cosmetics? You have to pay for those too. Like, if we implement one or the other, you know what I mean? Like, Path of Exile, perfect example of like, this game's completely free. Oh, you want cosmetics or extra tabs? Pay for them. Like, that's fine. But if Path of Exile was $20 and then on top of that they were like, oh, you have to pay for cosmetics.
If you want these features that are kind of needed to play at like this highest level, kind of feels bad.
I think this is the point. Like, it's gonna feel real shitty if they implement these changes and they keep the price tag on the game. For me personally, I don't agree with that. Now that they have a way to like every season monetize and start like, you know, trying to get people to the incentive to pay for the seasons and stuff, I don't know. It feels dirty to me to say, hey, buy this game in early access and then on top of that pay for seasons.
Yeah, and they are aiming to like leave early access this year, which is I think why they are like rushing some kind of stuff like this, because they just want to get it out and see what works. Like, what are people like? What do people like about this system, and what don't we like?
Right.
Because there is a lot of there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on at Beta Dwarf that we've been hearing about that they can't directly tell us because of NDA. But something that Sasha Banks found by like snooping around in the Denmark press was that Beta Dwarf actually received this massive cash injection from the government. So there's like all this news and stuff that's going on like about what is the future for MM, and it's like throwing off a lot of people and like what is going to happen.
Yeah, I heard about all that. I heard about the government whatever. I thought they announced that because I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it's a lot of people spread around that article, but Beta Dwarf themselves have said, oh, we're under NDA, so we can't really talk about what is explicitly happening. Just know that we're hiring more interns, we're doing this and that, but we can't tell you like stuff that's super concrete yet.
Okay, so they've got money, so they're trying to get shit done and make moves, which is awesome. But I mean, as a software developer, all I have to say is like, don't go too fast. Still gotta
that is something everyone has a general consensus on. It's like Beta Dwarf. When you try to do something too quickly, you end up like Expeditions.
Yeah, exactly.
You do something, you change it, it's somehow worse, and now you change it to this, and everyone's just like, it's better than what it was before.
Yeah. No, you gotta. I mean. That would leave a very, very sour taste in my mouth. That's all I'm gonna say. If they rush these changes and they still keep charging money for the game in early access, while they're charging money for season passes or battle passes or whatever you want to call them, and they keep being super hush hush about all the stuff that's going on. By the way, did anyone crack the code on those hints he dropped? He said something about a dance pad and a device or...
Oh, I know what you're saying. I have no idea.
Because he was saying they just made a deal with something about like a device or something. Like it sounded... I thought it was something hinting at maybe like VR or like Nintendo Switch or something. Like there was definitely some hints dropped about something.
Yeah, because we know that they're putting it on Xbox as well. But
Right.
then when they dropped that, everyone was like, "What does this mean?"
Right. I mean, I think it would be a perfect game for the Switch. Because of just the touch screen and like, I don't know. I think it would be a great platform for Minion Masters. So that would be super interesting. Oh, I lost my background music. I'm still trying to salvage my desk, so sorry about the awkwardness.
Yeah,
so
no worries.
Let's go down to the cards. So explain some of these new cards and explain to me why they suck.
Okay, well, with this new season, they decided to add this mechanic that I'm just going to call Last Played, because that's how the mechanic works. Most of these cards, I think let's see, I can actually just count 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 of these cards have that Last Played mechanic, where it's essentially, if you fulfill the condition, like if you look at Cannibal Swarmers, if the last card you played was a 3-mana spell, that card gains an effect. So in that case, they gain Rage and Frenzy, which is actually insane on Swarmers. We did the math. If you activate Cannibal Swarmers, they're the cheapest cost for the highest DPS currently in the game.
Yeah.
But it requires you to play that 3-mana spell. And something that a lot of people were kind of confused about was, what do you mean by last card played? It literally means after you play that specific card, the next one has to be that one.
Yeah, they have to be played sequentially for it to trigger.
Yes. The next mechanic go.
What blew me away about that was the question that you asked, because I was actually there for that part. You were like, wait, so like last played, but there will be like maybe a 10-second or 20-second or 30, like there will be like a time limit on that, like 5 seconds or whatever. And they're like, no, literally, like you could play that card and then wait as long as you want, and then as long as the next card is whatever,
it'll activate. Yes, it'll
activate. That seemed kind of crazy.
And then the next mechanic they added, which is only on one card, is Turncoat, which is it will switch sides of who owns it after it drops to 50% health, which I find pretty interesting because you get a discounted minion, but after it takes some damage, it comes at you, which I liked. Maybe they'll do something more with that in the future. But the reason a lot of us are saying that the last played mechanic is bad is that you're not really getting a whole lot with the mechanic itself. Of those cards, we really only think people are going to play with Cannibal Swarmers and the Dragon Ball, just because they're cheap. That's essentially it. They're cheap.
Right.
And the effects are kind of good. We pretty much think everyone is going to run Cannibal Swarmers if you run Daggerfall, because that's just the best one out of these. Because for 2 mana, even without activating the effect, you still play Swarmers, you just get 1 less, and it still fulfills almost every... It accomplishes the same thing as the normal Swarmers in almost every use case. Whereas all these other ones, if you play it without it being active, it's a loss every time.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yes.
It really just comes down to a question of worth. Like, when you do the math, is it worth it to even try and do this? Because not only do you add the... I mean, it adds complexity. When you're already trying to, like, do the math of how much mana and getting your cards in the right, like, order and, you know, countering whatever your enemy's doing in real time, you know, oh, I got to black hole that, I got to do this. So, like, now on top of that, you got to be like, whoa, shit, what was the last card I played? And so there's also the mental cost, not just like the actual card cost, but the mental cost of having to like keep track of one more thing while you're playing, right?
Luckily, it's not that bad because if the card effect is active, they glow with the orange border.
Yeah, but it's not that bad for you. I'm talking about for like idiots like me or new players who are like, oh shit, like I forgot, like. You know, they'll put that in their deck with good intentions, and then they'll literally never trigger the event because they just don't pay enough attention.
Yeah.
You know?
And then the other gripe we had with was it adds like a forced combo that now your opponent can always expect. Because...
Oh, true. It's predictable. Because once they see that card, they can just say, oh, okay, I can counter that.
Yeah, so in the case of the 7 mana card, which is it summons an incubus and a succubus, it's a 7 mana, it's a 7 mana minion card, and it's only triggered, and it's triggered by a 5 mana spell card, and there's only 3 of those in the game. So you know, if you see that spell card being played, you know this is coming out at 7 mana.
Right.
And then if you're triggering it off of the Dragon Ball, which is also a combo card, then now you basically can map out what this guy's next 2 cards are going to be, because you know, okay, he just played a 3 mana minion, now he's going to play the 5 mana spell, and now he's going to play the 7 mana minion, and you can just like know exactly what they're going to play, which a lot of people, and I agree, makes it really predictable on everyone that runs those cards, because now you know exactly what their hand is and what they're going to do.
Okay, you ready for my $1 million idea?
Yes.
I always like to throw my own ideas out there. I just had an idea. Instead of making them sequential, make them recipes. So basically, you can have some fancy fun like names for the recipes or whatever, and have little icons across the bottom, and different cards could be part of different. Because what they're trying to do is like create combos essentially.
Yes.
But it seems confusing to me. It seems it would be easier just to say, okay, these cards can be used to make this recipe, but you also need one of these cards to. So like you could basically say like it would basically like, so if 3 cards have the same icon at the bottom of them or whatever, you would know, okay, I can play those 2 or 3 or however, or just make them 2 card recipes. So if I play these 2 cards, that'll make this recipe that'll cause this extra effect, right? Mm-hmm. That might be a little, because then it's not quite as predictable, because multiple cards could be a part of multiple recipes. So that would at least kind of mix it up a little bit. Rather than doing this like played after thing. You could play them in either order, but it would still have kind of the same effect.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, because just like so far with a lot of these, we're just like the effect, it's not strong enough for what you're doing. Because a lot of people looking at them like it's only like it's a cheap 5 mana spell, but you have to remember you have to combo it, which means it's not a 5 mana spell, it's 12 mana. Because for some reason, a lot of them were like cost total of 12, which I was like, oh, is that going to be all of them? Like they're all going to add up to 12, but then the Swarmers came out, which is 5 cost.
Yeah. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. And then the last bit of criticism that came out was, I'm gonna go by Gobe. He basically said for the next tourney on this Saturday, he said all of these cards are legal. They're not gonna be banned like usual because the sponsor wants them to be played. So we were all like, okay, Betadorf wants us to play with the cards so they can like actually see people use them. But then a bunch of other people said, oh, so the next tourney is going to be pay to win, because if you don't like put down money for the tokens,
you're not going to get them in time.
Yeah, you can't get them. Because right now we're thinking that the 2 mana Swarmers and the 2 new legendaries are going to be pretty busted. And that's the ones that people are going to want. And since they're legendaries and it's going to cost you 6,000 shards to craft, it's not going to be cheap.
Yeah, no, if it's a short-term like tournament thing, that's not cool. Only the people who can pay for the pass are going to be able to farm them fast enough for the tournament. Mm-hmm. So if they're going to release a change like this that close to a tournament, they should just give you guys all, I mean, they can generate redeemable keys. Like,
yes,
they could just give you guys keys for those cards and say, hey, we're going to give you these cards since you're active in the community, you're playing in the tournament. Here's the key to unlock these cards so you can use them in the tournament. Because yeah, otherwise I don't agree with that decision at all. That's not reasonable.
Yeah, and the kind of counter argument I had to that was, if you play in the tournaments, a lot of us, like it's only like 2 players that are pretty new that probably won't get the cards, because I know everyone else is sitting on like 40,000 plus shards and like hundreds of thousands of gold.
Yeah.
So it won't be hard for those guys.
Yeah, but that's got to feel shitty for the new guy. I mean, the whole point of all it. We don't need to appeal to the people who are gonna be here. We need to appeal to new players. So you can't, like, yeah, everyone else will earn them, but we should be concerned for those 2 or 3 players, because they have friends that probably aren't playing the game yet or haven't heard of it, or like you know, if they have a bad experience in their first tournament because they literally didn't have enough time to farm the cards, it's going to cause animosity. It's going to leave a bitter taste in their mouth, and they're going to say, fuck this game. Like, it's the new players that we should be concerned about if we want the game to grow.
Especially since the last tourney was pushed back to this one. So I'm thinking that some people aren't gonna enter just because they won't have these cards.
Right. Yeah, and that's absolutely the wrong. I mean, you want as many people participating in as many events as possible, and you're alienating new players by doing that. Just because your sponsor says, we want to see the new cards in action. There's got to be a better way. Either give everyone those cards if you want to see them, or tell your sponsors, sorry, man, you're going to have to wait till the next tournament because that's a dick move.
Yeah, because I know Gob like directly answers to Betadorf, who is giving him the money for these tournaments. But it's like you can still run the tournament without money if that's like what you need to do.
You got to stand up for yourself. That's a problem with money in general. That's the problem with the software industry in general. I'm going to soapbox a little bit and say, like, any company that's ever taken VC money is just like a puppet. Like, I'm fortunate enough to work for a small software company that's never taken sponsored money or venture capital money or anything like that. My CEO makes every decision he wants to make for what's best for the company and for his employees. As soon as you start accepting sponsorships or venture capital or government, you know, funding or whatever, you're not calling the shots anymore. You're a puppet. So, like, this tournament's a perfect example. There's probably plenty of people within the company who don't think it's a good idea, but guess what? Money talks. They don't get to make those decisions anymore because they took the money. So it is what it is. That's how it goes. But hopefully they don't let the money make too many decisions, because they're going to continue to alienate new players if they do.
Yeah, because I know Gob, he's been doing this for free for like months now, and I think he's happy that he can actually give the players this prize pool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like this specific case is probably going to sour some people's taste.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just you telling me about it, I didn't know that. And now that's kind of, I'm already like, nah, it sucks. So let's move on to something a little more exciting, and then we'll move away from Minion Masters for those of you who don't give a shit about any of this. But I did want to discuss it. But let's look at skins. So we got a few.
Skins are not nice.
I clicked on these links. So Lightbringer. What am I looking at here?
Well, it is a rare, if I remember. Yeah, so it's a rare. So it's not like super fancy, but it does give him basically.
Oh, I see, like the feather swooshes and stuff.
Yeah.
His mask looks different. His bow looks bigger.
Yeah, so like more aesthetic stuff. He looks like a cooler Stormbringer.
Yeah, okay. And then we got, this is the, I know a lot of people saw this one in the, when they were streaming, and they were like, oh shit, Molten Apep. Like, everyone was freaking out.
Molten Apep was the one people like died over.
Yeah.
They're like, this is the skin I want to buy.
It does look pretty badass. I like how you can see like the glowing through the scales. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they have a little bit of lore, and it is Supreme, which is like, it's gonna cost more, but a lot of the other ones are just simple recolors, which is why people were like, this one's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. I like it.
Because when they are mostly recolors, you're just like, it doesn't really do a whole lot for me.
Yeah. Some of the recolors are definitely better than others, but yeah, recolors are always just like, they feel cheap. They just feel like a quick, like, we made it
palette swap.
Yeah, we made it green instead of purple. Like, cool, I guess. Oh, he's got a big ass like axe looking thing.
Yeah, World Cleaver Volko, also Supreme, gonna be expensive, but yeah, this is a larger visual update one.
I don't know, honestly, if for my personal opinion, I don't think he looks different enough to be Supreme, other than like having a darker body and that big ass axe. Maybe if he had some big flaming horns on his head or something, like there's got to be a little more for me to pull the trigger. The Apep one, I will buy. That's completely like top to bottom, like badass, looks way different. People are going to see that and go, oh shit, that's Molten Apep. This one is not quite enough, in my opinion, to be a Supreme.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to make some changes, because I know when they first showed it, all they had was the axe. Okay. So they might make more changes to Volko's like main body itself. but yeah, the axe itself is probably not worth it.
Maybe like in that orange glowing chest part, if there was literally like a burning heart or something. Like I don't know. There's got to be something like unique, a little more unique about it. For I'll probably get if I have enough resources, I'd probably get the APEP one, but I don't think I would get this Volco one unless they made some. Ooh, see, now this is kind of cool.
Yes, Infested Setsu.
That's
one's entirely like redone.
Yeah, it's like it looks like a exactly infested, like a Zergling. It looks like a Marine that got infested by a Zergling.
Yeah, that's what everyone said.
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, StarCraft skin, nice."
Yeah, exactly. That's what it feels like, and that's not a bad thing because it feels different. It doesn't feel like Setsu. Yeah,
and it still looks like Setsu, so it shouldn't be like too like, "Oh wait, is this a new master?" Like, no, it's still Setsu.
Nah, usually that's the thing. I think Beta Dwarf could take more liberties. I think they worry about people confusing things, because that's why from the beginning I pitched them that they should skin all of the minions. I was like, dude, if you had minion skins, I'd buy the shit out of those. Like, I think that would be super cool, but they're like, no, because that would cause like player confusion, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
they won't be able to tell what units they are, clarity. And I always say bullshit on that, because there's plenty of games who skin stuff that like clarity's not a problem because of the stance, the silhouette, the way they move. Like, subconsciously, clarity is only a problem if you like completely change. Like, if all you're doing is recoloring your scrats to be like bright red, or like, I don't know. I think you could do like minion skinning without having clarity problems.
Maybe not bright red because rage exists, but
well, that's true. But like, I mean, in League of Legends, some of those skins are like drastically different, but the way the characters move, their color, their size, their silhouette, like silhouette's a big one. As long as the silhouettes match and they move the same, like most people are going to be able to recognize what it is.
Yeah, like even in StarCraft, they had unit reskins, but you still knew what the unit was.
Exactly. So like when I first started playing and they brought up skins like a year ago, I was like, oh, that'd be badass if I could have like skinned minions. And they're like, no, we're just going to skin the masters. And I was like, that's dumb. Like I didn't like it. I wish they would have, like, I don't know. I wish they would have gone all the way and skinned everything. But anyway,
something I thought about just to give it like more variety was like, instead of just having a full skin, just like give it headgear, body, and then the weapon, which kind of doesn't work for like someone like APEP who doesn't have a weapon. But I was like, you can recolor the tongue.
Or no, you could make his tail like do like he could have a like just his tail be different than his body, or I did have that idea too, like take an Overwatch approach, or not? Is it which one is the one where you can sorry, Paladins? Is it Paladins where you can swap out like
Paladins?
Like individual pieces of gear?
Okay, then it might be Paladins. I know Battle Right, you can only swap the weapon and then the skin.
But still, that'd be cool. Like if I could do the infested Setsu, but like with a different gun, or I don't know. That'd be cool.
And then it gives people more things to buy, because then they can mix and match, and then it's not like, oh, I just bought the newest skin. And I think Molten APEP is only going to be available in the season pass, but it's like the first reward you get.
Yeah, so he's got the rattle on his tail, so like it'd be cool if you could do like Molten APEP, but with like the green rattle. I don't know, just to like make it that way. It feels more unique. It feels like yours.
Because with Molten APEP, it's just gonna be, oh, I bought the season pass,
right?
And now it's mine.
Yeah,
still a great skin though. I'm probably only gonna use that skin from like now on.
Yeah, no, it's a good skin for sure. So that's pretty much the extent of the changes, right? You're gonna have the battle passes during seasons. There's the 2 new mechanics for cards that we'll see how those pan out.
It is funny because some people have been saying, oh, since the cards are really bad this set, people aren't gonna think that the battle pass is pay to win.
Oh, like they intentionally made these cards shitty so people don't feel left out?
Maybe. I don't think they did that on purpose. I just think they thought the effect was more powerful than it was. Because they added a blink spell, and we were all like, okay, that's broken.
What's the blink spell do?
It's the I forget. It's right above the last one. I forget what it's called. It is. Oh, it wasn't right above the last one. It is Nether Step. It's 3 mana, and it teleports friendly minions 10 units directly towards the enemy master.
Oh wow.
And we were like, okay, this is broken because now you can blink your units like right past bridges. You can blink your faster units past slower ones.
Yeah, no, that's really hard to balance too. Like Dragoon, like in StarCraft, blink mechanics have always been a pain in the ass. They've always been an issue to balance because if someone's really good at blink, they're unkillable, or there's just like it's
unstoppable.
Yeah, you just can't. That's strong as fuck for 3 mana.
I was thinking they should definitely like increase the cost because it's straight utility and it's really strong. Because the idea I had for it was, you can get if you get Cleaver onto face, Nether Step becomes the most efficient damage spell in the game because each time you blink your Cleaver, it resets his attack immediately.
Holy
So
Santa
it's face
Claus!
for 300,
Shit.
you blink him, another 300, blink him again. It works kind of like Black Hole, except you don't have to wait the 6 seconds each time. It's just immediate damage.
And you know what I was thinking? It's also one of the most efficient counters to like Fireball.
Oh, to like blink a minion?
Well, rather than using a black hole, you could just blink forward. Not only do you miss the Fireball, but you're now closer to the enemy too. Like it's a very efficient, just like, oh, you're gonna fire, like you can just anticipate a Fireball and just bloop, move everything out of the way. Same with like any of the AoE spells. Like if they're gonna beam your Colossus, you just blink him forward. Like you don't have to black hole now. You just like, is there a delay on the blink?
It looked pretty much instant.
Yeah, that just like
there was a kind of small AoE about the size of Combustion, and then maybe like half a second to a second before it actually blinks them forward.
If it's that strong, I would probably just completely replace Black Hole in my deck with Blink, and I would use it as a more powerful Black Hole spell. Personally, like that would be my utility for it. Yeah, you could use it for pushes and resets, but for me personally, I just say, oh, I'll just move out of the way of spells and move get to the enemy quicker. I'm doing 2 things at once at that point.
Yeah, especially if you have a faster minion and you blink it past a slower one, you just can ignore like their tanks.
Well, and that's gonna be a bitch to balance with like it completely nullifies Call to Arms builds.
Yeah, because we were just like, you can blink your minions like right.
Yeah,
onto
you
the
can
buildings.
just like blink right past the buildings or onto the build. Like like if you do a big push and they throw up a wall, you just blink past it and like hit face.
Yeah, me and Vango, we were just like, okay, so tomorrow, double Setsu, double Rammer, blink, pretty much unstoppable. Because even if they play walls, you can blink the Rammers past walls.
Yep.
And like you said, oh, if they try to beam it, you can blink it out of the beam.
Yeah. Especially considering with wild cards. I mean, if you just have like
2v2, like
you can like you have 6 blinks in your deck, and you can just spawn a Cleaver at your spawn and just like blink, 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 and now he's face. Like if you coordinate with your partner, you could literally just like throw a unit across the map instantly.
Because the 10 units, it's the same range as a rat bow. So with 30 units, that's pretty much your bridge to their face.
Yeah. So like 3 or 4 blinks and you're just like all the way across the map.
Yeah, at that point, it's just learning that timing. Like, okay, it's gonna blink here, so as soon as I blink it, I need to move my mouse there, blink it again, and do it again.
That's crazy. Yeah, that shit's gonna get nerfed. That shit should cost like 6 mana or something. I don't know. It's that one's gonna be hard.
It's just too good of a utility spell.
Yeah, and it'll break a lot of other play styles.
Yeah, because there's a reason movement is just so powerful.
Movement is exactly. That's why anything that affects movement in any game, like it's one of the hardest things to balance. Period. There's a reason that Flash is the #1 summoner spell that's always taken in League of Legends, because movement is the most valuable thing in the game. Like just being able to jump over a wall or get out of the way, or get away from a stun, or like whatever it is. Like movement is king, and so to say that you can move 10 units with 3 mana is just like, yeah, that's We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get this card, and then if the tourney goes through, play it at the tourney just so you can basically see how broken it's gonna be.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we covered our bases on the Minion Masters changes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is Sheef around? I thought I saw Sheef pop in.
Oh yeah, he did.
He dropped a host a minute ago. Should we do some Sheefs Beef?
We should.
If he's here, I think we should get into it. Let me go ahead and do one thing, though. I need to disable audio on these notifications. I didn't mean to leave that on. Sorry about that, guys. So, Meshyf said that he rushed this beef, so it's probably not going to be as polished as previous ones, but he did sound fairly excited about the topics that he's going to be bringing us. I already have it downloaded, so we'll get into it in just a second once I adjust these notifications that I accidentally left on. I was cutting it close tonight. I didn't have as much time to prep as I usually do, so there we go. That's fixed, so let's go ahead and turn off my browser. We'll put up my Sheefs Beef logo while I load up the video. That capture was broken on the two-person view, so I had to fix it.
Oh, okay.
All right. I will start back at 0, and we'll do 1, 2, 3, go, okay?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, go.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Sheefs Beef. We're down here at JTRH NBR Network Studio Complex. Let's bring it to the ring with Meshyf for the beef. Welcome, everyone, to the ring.
That was loud.
I'm your host, bringing you the beef. Today we got two big ones. We're going to hit right into it. First, beef. Sleep. Sleep is the first beef.
What?
I possibly could sleep.
Something I get a lot right
First
now,
beef.
but not
Let's see.
usually.
I can never get enough of it. It's never the right amount. It's either too much or too little. It's driving me crazy. You're probably like me, probably up late playing video games. You have to get up early. Boom, not enough sleep. You're dragging ass all day, chugging rock stars and coffee, just trying to keep going. Or on the flip side, it's your day off, and you finally get a chance to sleep in. But you get too much sleep. Now you're groggy and foggy all day. It's never the right amount. You can't just be boom, done. I got my sleep, I'm good. I woke up with exactly the right amount of sleep. Never happens. That's why sleep, you're in the ring for the first beef. Second beef, we have trending
I'm not sure.
video. Now, why trending video?
Let's
start with YouTube. We're just going to pick on YouTube today. But trending video is a scam. It's a fucking scam. Okay? So here we have the trending page for me. It may be different for you because Google's weird algorithm that they have on YouTube. But the first video may legitimately be trending. I don't think it is because I don't think people really care about a Dumbo movie that much. But there's 2.9 million views in 17 hours. The next one may be a legitimate trend. 1.1 million views 43 minutes ago. That seems pretty hot. But then it gets a little weird when we come down to the end. Everything wrong with Ratatouille. I love CinemaSins. They're a great show. But 1.5 million views a day ago? Now it's getting kind of weird. 789,000 views in one day? I kind of feel like stuff blows up a little faster than that. Oh yeah, and I think I kind of glanced over this. Emily Dow, I have no interest in what's in your bag or what you bought in Japan. Who are you?
She's a
you're not
creator
my
on the
radar.
rise,
This isn't someone
Meshyf.
that I would ever consider watching. As you go down, it gets more and more suspect until we get to the bottom. The further down you get, the weirder it starts getting. It's just Water Weight by Kevin Hart, Laugh Out Loud Network. 290,000 views 2 days ago? Then you got Shawn Mendes, who has 4.5 million views 2 days ago. Let's see why this would be considered trending or why this is hot. Remember, it's got less than it's got barely 500,000 views. It's not even there.
Now it's time for some tips.
Oh wait, I think we found a little secret there. I think they show it for just a split second. Boom, right there, YouTube original. So YouTube's trying to pretend like this is trending. This is what people want to see. This is hot. But it's not. It's just a YouTube original that they're pushing to the top. Okay? Trending sucks. used to be where you'd find viral videos, but you don't find them anymore. It's just ads. I'm sure people are paying to get on the top of trending. The subscription bar is something else that's starting to get messed up, and it's getting old. Okay, YouTube, can you knock the shit off? Facebook does the same garbage. That's why those are our 2 beefs of the week. So, Jimmy, James, contestants, chat, contestants, there's a prize. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this beef. Okay, which is the beefiest? Sleep, because you never get enough or you get too damn much, or trending video, which is just garbage and it's a lie. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Go ahead and let me know, and at the very end, I'm going to let you know which is the right answer, because there's a right one. Let's get to the beef.
All right, paused at 3:58.
Yep.
So,
pretty spicy topics.
Spicy. Too bad he's not here. Usually he's talking shit in chat. Is anyone out there in chat, or we everyone in lurk mode today? Because I definitely have opinions about both of these. Sleep. Let's see. I agree.
Too much, too little?
I agree, but I disagree, because I differ from this significantly with Lady Navio. She loves sleep. She looks forward to it. She likes it's a ritual for her. She likes laying in bed. You know, she'll looks to the day when she can sleep in and just kind of lay in bed, watch a show, lazy mornings, stuff like that. She's not a lazy person at all. She's one of the hardest working people I know, but she very much values sleep and the rituals surrounding sleep. Me, on the other hand, I hate sleep. If I never had to sleep, I would never sleep. I feel like it's a waste of time when there's like 100 other things I'd rather be doing. Like, I have a list of things. I want to get my YouTube channel going. I literally don't have enough time with work and streaming and spending time with Lady Navio and other projects. Like, I don't have enough time to do everything I want to do, and for me, sleep just gets in the way. And so I definitely agree with him there to an extent. The part about not getting enough or getting too much, I personally cannot agree with, because I know what my optimal sleep is. My optimal sleep is like 6 hours. And not everybody has the same optimal sleep, but everybody does have an optimal sleep. And there are sleep studies you can do. There's apps on your phone that can track when you're like your cycles, when you're coming in and out of REM sleep, and help you fall asleep and wake up within those cycles. There's a lot of studies. There's a lot of research. There are ways to get better sleep. So as far as not like the quality of sleep, there are solutions for that. I use my Fitbit to track my sleep cycles, and I also try and stay like my sleep cycles are like an hour 40 to an hour, like an hour 30, hour 40. So like that's why for me 6 hours is perfect. If I sleep for 8 hours, it's like in the middle of a cycle for me, either 6 or 7.5. If I go like 8, like for whatever reason, if I wake up outside of a cycle, I just feel tired. And some people say that's mumbo jumbo, but like maybe it's placebo. I don't know. But if I get a solid 6 hours, I wake up feeling super refreshed. So as far I that's where I disagree with him. I agree in the sense that I hate sleep and I wish I didn't have to do it, but I have to do it. So I have found ways to try and optimize my sleep.
I agree like so much with that sleep is a waste of time. Because I remember I watched an anime and and at one point it's a guy from a different dimension. He's like, if you look at this object that exists in 4 dimensions, you will never have to sleep. And I was like, can I get that in real life? Because an extra 8 to 10 hours like added every day, you could do so much with that.
Right.
Like
that's so much time.
And then with getting too much sleep, I get that all the time. Because my sleep schedule is pretty erratic. I usually fall asleep anywhere between midnight to 2 a.m. But I can't wake up like before noon. And if I try to, I always fall asleep. But I always wake up tired.
Yeah.
Like I just wake up like, why am I awake? Like I slept for 12 hours. Why am I still tired?
Yeah.
Just crazy thing. If I tracked it like you, I'd probably get higher quality sleep. But it doesn't work out.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna take a nap, anything less than or more than like an hour and a half, I might as well not do it. Like if I take an hour and a half nap, then I'll wake up just like boom, ready to go. It won't last as long as if I sleep like 6 hours, but I know that I can lay down, set an alarm for an hour and a half, and I'll jump right up. If I don't set an alarm and I sleep for 2 hours, I'll wake up feeling like shit. So like, I don't know, maybe give it a try. Maybe look into like finding out. I think the average is somewhere between like an hour and a half.
I've read similar studies.
So it's something to try. So I agree to an extent that like sleep is bullshit and I wish I didn't have to do it. But as far as getting quality sleep, there are ways to improve the quality of sleep.
Like I won't even nap because I'm like, if I nap, that's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So I'll like fight the afternoon drowsiness. Like, no, I'm not going to sleep right now.
That's why we're all gonna die of heart attacks when we're like 50.
Yep.
But okay, so the next one, I want you to chime in first because you are a YouTuber more than myself. For those who don't know, James has a somewhat successful YouTube channel. He's got 80,000 subscribers and he puts out content on a regular basis. He's been doing YouTube, didn't you say, for like 7 years?
Yeah.
Since you were like 12 years old.
Yeah.
That's insane. So yeah, I want your opinion on how, like, because I know trending has been shit for a while, and now that the latest controversy is now the sub page, like your subscriber page, they're starting to fuck with that too, right?
Yeah, because it's like you upload a video and YouTube basically said, well, we know that people, like, not everyone that you're look, we know everyone that subs to you isn't going to watch everything you put out. So that proportion of people, we're just not going to send them the video. And I've seen this a lot because there was a Rainbow Six YouTuber I watched who who makes good quality Rainbow Six content that I like watching. But YouTube knows that I'm not really interested in his other content. So I didn't even know that he was putting out Far Cry 5 content and this other game until I went to his channel myself and he had like all these other videos. And I was like, oh, when was that happening? So the way you have to do it now is you have to go onto each person you're subscribed to, hit the notification bell to enable it, and then you have to click it again to open up an options list to say receive all videos, not receive most. Which brings me to the second point.
Go ahead, sorry.
Which about trending, where I think a lot of people in the back of their minds kind of knew that trending was more of a if you pay money, you'll get trending type deal.
Which, let's call a spade. And the reason I like Twitter is because it's transparent about that stuff. I don't know if anyone knows this, but you can do what's called promoting or sponsoring a tweet. If you put out a tweet, you can click the little analytics button and you can say promote tweet. And then basically for every like view or click or whatever that you get, they basically put you at the top of a lot of sections or whatever, but you pay for the views and clicks and stuff that you get from that. But everybody knows about it. It's a very well-known thing. The thing that bugs me about trending is the word trending. Because trending implies, like Meshyf pointed out in the video, trending implies that it's something that people are interested in. That people are sharing with their friends, that it's getting lots of views in a short amount of time. That's what a trend is, right?
Yeah, like it's getting shared.
A trend is when something just blows up because everyone's sharing it with each other. Don't fucking call it trending. Call it promoted content, or call it what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. It's gonna drive me crazy. It's the perfect word too. But I mean, call it what it is. It's not trending because there's clearly some of them on there that got there naturally, but a lot of that content is put there by YouTube because someone probably paid someone.
Like, something I find way more interesting was that creator on the Rise tab. Like, have more of those where it's people that have been gaining this audience and growing. Because then you're like, oh, I've been looking for someone that does this type of content, like who's out
curated.
there.
Sorry, I got to put it out before I forget it again. Call it curated content. Call it, you know, because it's not naturally happening.
Yeah.
There are hands moving those cards. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just had to get the word out before I forgot it.
Yeah, like the creators on the rising, like that seems more organic, because you know, if these people are rising like in a short amount of time, that means that those people are getting shared a lot between people, and there might be like something you want to look at. Because with the trending page, I forget when, it might have been sometime last year, where people were posting links of, why is this trending when it has like 2,000 views? What about that is trending? And that like brought to light a lot of like that stuff about it, where it's like, what exactly quantifies a trending video?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess for me, that's what it really ultimately comes down to for me. For a lot of this shit that goes on the internet, I think a lot of people would be a lot less frustrated if there was some form of transparency.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem, is that YouTube doesn't want to tell you how it works, because then they're worried that people will game the system, or that people will, you know. But honestly, if they were transparent about it, like if people knew, oh, all I have to do is do this and I can, you know, get my stuff seen more, it might actually make YouTube more money. Like,
Yeah.
But by them just pulling this shit and then like, oh yeah, by the way, because like no one did they announce officially that they were messing with the subscription page?
I don't think officially. I just know people started noticing that, like, oh, you have to check off this box now to receive all the content.
Yeah, and that's what bugs me. That's one of the things I think maybe that I like more about Twitch versus YouTube, because Twitch makes changes pretty often, but they're generally pretty transparent when they do that stuff. Like if they add or remove a feature from affiliates, I get emails all the time that are like, "Hey, we're changing this about affiliates." Like they're gonna get rid of the whole whatever that section is called on your page where you can like post stuff. It's like your own little feed or whatever.
Oh, like the notification feed.
Yeah,
where you can post your own updates.
Right, they're getting rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
But they sent
Kinda
out it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean they want.
Barely see people use it.
They wanted to do like their own kind of Twitter type thing where people could like promote, like where you could go to the main feed for all the people that you follow or whatever, and it would be like curated. But it just never really took off, and a lot of people didn't like it because if you wanted to use it, it really cluttered up your page. Because a lot of people like me, I try and make my everything line up and look nice on my page, and if I turn that on, it breaks everything. It looks terrible.
Yeah.
So I never used it because it was just frustrating to use, and I really didn't see a lot of gain from it. But my point, I'm getting off track. My point is, whenever they add or remove something like that, they always send out an email saying, "Hey, in the next few months, we're going to be doing this," or whatever. Like a feature they're adding for affiliates is they're adding.
I think I know what you're talking
subscriber badges.
That's it. Yeah.
For affiliates. And they're also making it so payouts happen in 45 days instead of 60. But like before, they didn't just make that change overnight. Like every time they do something, they have a blog post about it. They send out an email, "Hey, this is what's happening." Like they very rarely just like ninja change the way something works. And I feel like they're better about that stuff, whether good or bad. You know, they're better about communicating with their both their partners, affiliates, and the general public that uses Twitch.
Yeah.
Transparency, people. It'll solve all these problems if you just tell people what the fuck's going on and why you're doing it. Rather than after the fact when people get mad, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're messing with that. Sorry."
Like, oh, we actually changed that in the latest version, but we didn't tell anyone.
Yeah, it's bullshit. So for me, I would say Bigger Beef is probably trending. As much as I hate sleep and I wish I could use those 8 hours for something else, I do enjoy some aspects of it.
I like sleeping when I've had a long day and I've been out and I feel drained and I'm like, I need to recharge.
Right. And it's a good time to watch TV. I pretty much always fall asleep with the TV on. That's probably not healthy, but yeah. So for me personally, I would say the bigger beef would be trending.
Yes. Let's see what Meshyf's got to say.
All right, I'm at 358. We'll do it on go again. 1, 2, 3, go.
Thank you, everyone, for your suggestions. Now we're going to go back to the stadium to see which is the beefiest. It's sleep.
Oh, no!
Obviously,
Sleep? We were wrong.
I can never get enough of it, or I get too much. My body doesn't know what the fuck is going on. So that's why sleep is the Sheefs Beef of the week.
We need to help Meshyf.
We need more, we need too much. Why can't we figure out a way to not need sleep? That would be wonderful. Enough time to game, enough time
Not
to
yet,
do whatever
Meshyf.
you want. Sleep. You're the beef.
You're the beef. So aggressive.
Cuts out. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we disagreed there. Because
That's a first.
I don't know. I just don't feel like. I mean, other than the fact that you're dead for however many hours you sleep.
Yeah, a third of your life.
Who was it they called some famous author or something? They called sleep the small death or the tiny death.
I think I know who you're talking about. I can't place the name.
Yeah, because I mean, you literally like, as far as your subconscious goes, you don't exist for a few hours, which is kind of weird to think about. But one of my beefs with sleep too is that I rarely dream, and if I do, I don't remember them.
Oh, I wish I could never remember my dreams.
Sometimes
I wake up and I was like, what was that? Like, what?
I haven't. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say the worst is when I start to realize that I am dreaming. I'm like, wait a minute. None of this is real. And then I wake up.
I have those, yeah, every once in a while. I feel like I've been having those lately more. Like when I do have dreams that I remember, I often do question the reality of it. And if you can control that, the next step is lucid dreaming. If you can recognize, that's always been a dream of mine, was to lucid dream.
And control your reality.
Yeah, so lucid dreaming, for those who don't know, is essentially when you recognize that you're dreaming, but you're able to stay in the dream and control it. Be like, oh, I'm dreaming, I'm gonna go fly around. And it's possible, and there's actually ways to train yourself to become a more efficient lucid dreamer. I think the first step is to take notes. Like you have to, there's certain like rituals you can do before you fall asleep, and then like as soon as you wake up, you're supposed to take detailed notes on like your dreams. And then
you start to recognize like what goes on when I dream, like what stuff is happening.
Yeah, and over time there's like certain exercises you can do to start to basically force yourself to lucid dream more often. Because I think I may have had like 1 or 2 lucid dreams in my life where I had at least a couple minutes of me knowing I was in a dream and being able to do stuff before I woke up. So that appeals to me. That'd be pretty cool. That's like a superpower.
Yeah, and then to like go through the night, and then you're just like you enter it, and then you're just like, whoa, I'm awake now.
Yeah.
Because I think the only time I've done it, I was like, that was it. That was so short. But it's like I slept for like 8 hours.
That's me almost every night. Like I literally fall asleep and wake up and like those hours just didn't exist. I rarely remember my dreams or that I even dreamed or that I even went to sleep. I just like hit the pillow and I wake up and I'm just like, all right, time to go to work. Like it's kind of weird. So that being said, I did recently start watching. Lady Navio has tasked me with watching at least the first 4 seasons of Dexter. She insisted that I have to watch at least the first 4 seasons. So I started watching it, and I started having some crazy fucked up dreams where I'm like trying to cover up things. Like I had this dream the other night that I got in a car accident, and it was my fault. Like I went the ground was wet. I was like driving on grass or something, and I like fishtailed out and like hit a truck, and then I just drove home. And then like the whole rest of my dream was me trying to cover it up. Like I had to tell all these elaborate lies, and like it was this huge cover up, which like if anyone who has watched Dexter, especially season 2 is just like the whole season's all about like a massive cover up. Oh, and so like my dreams were just all like shady like plot twist cover up dreams because I've been watching Dexter before I went to bed every night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting too, where it's like, I remember when I was younger, I was like, if I do something before I sleep, will it show up? And then I would never remember like if it worked or not.
It happens to me occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's been times where I've fallen asleep with the TV on, and then in my dream, me and somebody will be having a conversation, but it's someone I know. It's like my sister or my cousin or like, you know, Lady Navia or whatever. And I'll wake up and that exact conversation is like happening on the TV. Like the TV was actually, you know, like that I was playing out what I was hearing, but subconsciously through my own experience, you know?
Yeah, because it's like, in reality, you're hearing this on the TV, and then your brain is interpreting that as like, oh, we're having a conversation right now. That's what's happening.
Right. Probably some of the weirdest experiences I had were when I was on my mission in Brazil, and I was like a year and a half in, where I was speaking Portuguese pretty much all the time. I would start to have dreams in Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
But like, for those who speak multiple languages, there's always a point, and this happens with when I started thinking in Portuguese and dreaming in Portuguese, there's always a point where you hit a word or a phrase or something that doesn't line up with how you remember it, and then you realize there's a content shift. Like, for example, when I was on, so I would play out like a memory that I had. Like, you know, you just remember random like things from your past or whatever conversations you had.
Yeah, just like 5 years ago, I talked to Joe Schmo about what we did
right,
for breakfast.
but I'd be playing out that memory in my head in Portuguese without realizing it until I hit like a specific spot in that memory where I wouldn't have a word that matched the original memory, and then I'd be like, oh shit, that memory was in English, not Portuguese. Like it would totally mess up my whole context of like previous stuff, just because like that other language was so infused in my mind at that point. And so the same thing would happen with dreams, where I would just like have these weird, I'd wake up sometimes because like the whole first half of the dream is in Portuguese, and then I'd realize that we were speaking Portuguese, and I'd be like, wait a minute, this isn't right. And then I'd wake up and be like, what the fuck? Like it just like tweak my brain in a really weird way.
Oh, see, something similar like that would happen to me, except when I was awake. Because what would happen was I would like imagine a fake conversation with someone, and then I wouldn't remember if I had made up the conversation or if it happened. So I'd be like, so I'd bring it up to someone, and they're like, oh, you didn't tell me this. And I was like, but we talked about this earlier. Like, no. And I was like, but I could have swore we talked about this. And then it's like you're gaslighting yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I know we spoke about this, but it's like, did we really speak about it?
Right.
Or did I make it up in my mind?
Yeah. I've definitely had those experiences for sure. So, we went deep about dreams. I like that.
Oh.
So, Meshyf, that was a great topic. Thank you for the sleep one. I could go on about dreams and sleep, but I do want to touch on a couple other things. Probably going to end a little early tonight, but I did want to bring up this article that I shared with you.
About California.
Yeah, let's get into this for a minute.
I could actually do that, right?
If
only I could sing.
For those who don't know, let me pull this back up here in the media view. This has happened a few times throughout the history of our wonderful state of California, but it's happening again, and this time there's like some serious money backing it. There's like some tech billionaire who's trying to make this happen. Essentially, there's a lot of assholes who think that California should be 3 different states, and it's changed from time to time. It's been like 2 states. It's been, you know, redistricting. A lot of people are mad about the fact that most of California, when you get outside of the major metro city areas, a lot of California is fairly conservative.
Yes.
There's a lot of
small.
Yeah, so like the majority of like the percentage of the population lives on the coast, right? So you've got Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, San Jose, all these massive, massive cities with millions of people. And then you've got all of this other area that's mostly like agricultural, rural, in the middle of the state that has very different. So it really, what it comes down to is most larger city centers in the United States are fairly democratic. Most rural areas are Republican. And so you have this weird dynamic in California where you've got a fairly large number of people in the Central Valley and in Northern California and in pockets throughout that are fairly right-wing, conservative, Republican. Like Bakersfield, for example, is probably one of the most conservative towns in California. And they have very, very differing opinions from any of the coastal cities. So throughout the years, people have said that, hey, we need to change California. We need to redistrict it. We need to, break it up into separate states is the extreme. And that's exactly what's happening right now. This guy has gotten enough signatures to get this on the ballot for the November elections. He wants to create 3 Californian states. He wants a Northern California, which, as you can see, encompasses everything all the way from the tippy top down to Merced and San Jose. Then the most insulting part of this to me is that the big coastal region is just called California.
Yeah, it's like, what? No, you're West California. You don't get it just California.
Yeah, come on. It's north, south, and we're California.
Because when people say California, we're they're talking about.
Yeah, it seems kind of pompous. I don't know. And then you've got Southern California, which extends behind what we'll call West California, which the southern ones is a weird enigma. It doesn't make sense because this upper region right here of the Southern California is above San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. It's I get that that's a district line that they probably drew it on, but it's still north. It's above a part of the Northern California part.
I think they're using the county boundaries because I recognize the Kern County, Fresno County, Los Angeles County, San Francisco, Sacramento. I recognize those county boundaries. I think that's what they're using. So yeah, if they just that one on the top there, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. The whole thing doesn't make sense because there's so many questions it raises. The number one that came up to me that someone was mentioning is the debt. If you're gonna break it into 3 states, who's gonna inherit the debt?
Mm-hmm.
It better be fucking West California.
Yeah, because I also know that argument about it where it's we need to split it just because the massive wealth on the coast really skews it for everyone else in the rest of the state.
Right. But it's also skewed because there's the question about value in general.
Yeah.
Because besides Hollywood and I guess you could say that media is an export, but that's changing every day. Hollywood doesn't have the corner on the entertainment industry that they used to. So what other exports, other than being on the coast, tourism is a big one, I suppose. But what objective value do they produce? Whereas if you look at the Southern California, most of the Central Valley of that Southern California region provides agriculture for the entire country. The amount of produce that's grown in California's Central Valley is just people don't realize. It's pretty astounding how much produce is produced in California. So are we gonna tax? Is Southern California gonna tax West California for all their fucking avocados and strawberries so they can have their avocado toast? I don't know. There's so many unanswered questions if this were to ever happen.
Yeah, and it's funny about that too, because I think a lot of people forgot how much farming goes on in California. Because I can literally walk 5 minutes down the street and there's a guy selling strawberries on his farm. And it's I'm not even in the rural part of California. There's just farms everywhere.
Yeah. Can I see the comments? Does it let me? We don't need no 3 Californias.
Oh, I gotta see this.
Good luck.
Oh, yep, first one.
Oh yeah, good luck with water rights to the new California. That was another point that someone brought up, is most of the water from California comes from the north. And yeah, good luck. Good luck, West California, providing enough water for yourself.
Yeah, because like desalinization, that's probably not going to be enough.
Well, even if it was enough, that shit's crazy expensive, and that would take years before they would be able to do it.
And then it's funny too, because like people forget that California has a large forests in the north. We have beaches on the coast, lots of farmland like in the Central Valley, but then a large part of the southern part of the state is desert that relies on a lot of water from the north.
Oh yeah, yeah. This one, I've heard this argument a couple times too. This one about the entire West Coast seceding from the USA.
Oh yeah.
That one's funny too. It's like, hey, we have enough agriculture and industry and everything. Washington, Oregon, and California should just break off and be their own thing, or join Canada, or I don't know. It's like, no, like we're fine just because we like, the whole point of having states is we're allowed to have differences of opinion than other states. Like, I don't know. This whole thing is just so ridiculous. There was a comment that these comments have changed since I looked at it last, so I don't know if I'll be able to find the comment that I was looking at before, but I don't know. I can't believe it's going to be on the ballot. I mean, I voted in the midterms. It just happened. Yeah,
because I think the article itself was saying that it was like 70% were against. So we're gonna see how it votes out.
Yeah.
But
turnout, polling and turnout is 2 different things, man. Because
oh yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately, when turnout, it's been statistically proven, when turnout is high, it almost always goes towards the Democratic Party. When turnout is low, it always tends to end up going towards the Republican Party. And that's, I mean, not to call you guys out, but guess who's always the ones trying to do voter suppression bullshit? It's the right wing.
You can't have that kind of opinion on a podcast, Jimmy.
I absolutely can, because it's playing out right now across all of these midterm and primaries and all that stuff. Like, because when the turnout's low, it goes red, period.
Yeah, that's just statistics.
That's pure statistics. That's not even like my opinion, man.
Yeah, it's like the math shows this happens.
So, yeah, I mean, polling, I don't know. I don't think this has any ground to stand on. And even if it did pass, there's no way that Congress, or like, I don't think it would happen. Even it would go to the Supreme Court. It would go. There's so many things that would have to happen after the vote, even if the vote did pass, for this to become a reality, that I don't think it's realistic.
Yeah, like it's not something that would take years. It would take tens of years to actually go through.
I mean, you're talking about changing the American flag and shit. Like, it's not. Yeah. This is not something that's going to be taken lightly by the federal government. If we're just like, no, fuck it, we're 3 states. Like, nah. Fun times, and we can theorize about it, but this actually happening would probably not happen. I just can't believe it's going to be on the ballot. That'll be fun. Maybe I'll take a picture of my ballot and post it on IRL with my little bubble. Am I allowed to do that? Is that legal? Can I show how I voted?
Probably.
Because I do absentee ballot. I know you can't like take a phone in the booth and take a picture, but I do the mail. I do the at home where they mail it to you. By the way, everyone should do that. If you don't vote because you're fucking lazy and you don't want to drive to a booth, re-register to vote, and there's an option on there to register as an absentee voter. They mail you your ballot. You fill it out and you mail it back, and you're done. You can vote in your underwear in your living room while you're watching Dexter.
Yeah, it's like my friends in Vermont who are from California got their absentee ballot in Vermont and still voted. You can do it.
And if you do what we did and you wait till the last second, you can fill it out and walk it to the booth. If you don't mail it by a certain day, you have to like drive it over to the booth. So there's a booth like a block from my apartment though. So we're like, oh shit, we never voted. It's today. So we just like sat down, we already knew most of our votes, so we sat down and filled it out, and then we just like went a block down the street and turned it in and got our stickers. So yeah, that's ridiculous. Our country's being so stupid. Those Russians are just stirring all the pots. And other than that, I think the only other thing that I really wanted to touch on briefly, I'm not going to beat it to death because it's already been beat to death. But there are a few things for E3.
Oh, yeah.
That I am excited about. Number one, I am super stoked. I know everyone's cautiously optimistic because they literally showed zero gameplay. But I am cautiously optimistic about Cyberpunk 2077.
The hype is there.
Well, I think the biggest reason to be excited about it is because it's CD Projekt Red.
That's why. That's why the hype is there.
That's why. I mean, if it were EA and they showed this same exact trailer, people would be like, okay, whatever. But like,
oh, another Watch Dogs? Because that is what people thought that didn't know about Cyberpunk. They were like, oh, is this a new Watch Dogs?
But CD Projekt Red has a good track record for making good quality games that don't try and gouge you price-wise, that release quality DLC.
Free at that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it were any other studio besides CD Projekt Red, I'd probably not be so excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I don't know. I've never played any of the Witcher games, but I've watched a lot of people play them on stream. I'm more of a sci-fi guy. So like having the quality of The Witcher 3, like what I've seen quality-wise from those titles, the same studio making a sci-fi game is extremely exciting for me.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with it. Because I don't know what they're, like, it's based from. Like, I think there was, like, they have a source material for it. I forget what it's from. Similar to The Witcher. But if they can do the same thing with this as they did with The Witcher, it's going to be a good game.
Absolutely. That one is a good one for me. Another one that I am excited about. This one's a smaller one, but honestly, I tend to look for like a lot of the little indie stuff coming out because let's all be honest, indie studios are the ones that innovate.
Yeah, they have to if you want to buy their game.
Exactly. They can't rely on their massive studios and teams and celebrities and shit. They have to do something new and innovative. I mean, if it weren't for PUBG, now all these AAA dudes are playing catch up trying to add battle royale. Like it were the smaller guys that like proved that people want to play those types of games. So
and it's funny how quickly people shift from battle royale to battle royale. Because first it was PUBG. Well, technically H1Z1, but that one's dead now.
Yeah.
It was PUBG. Then everyone moved to Fortnite, and now Realm Royale is out, and a large population of the Fortnite people moved to that one. So
I honestly will try Realm Royale because remember what I said when Fortnite came out? I said, give me a Fortnite game without building.
Yeah.
And so I've been actually eyeballing Realm Royale. I'm taking a very wait and see approach, but I do see people shifting to it. So I don't know. I might give it a try.
Yeah. Even me, I was like, it's Hi-Res Studios behind it. I don't know. But I've been looking at it too, and I'm like, all right, I might give it a shot.
That is my main concern because everybody knows Hi-Res Studios' track record when it comes to like they'll make a good game and then they'll just completely fuck it up. Like they'll change the pay model or I mean, how many times have they changed Paladin's like currency system and pay model and loot boxes and ability system? And I mean, it's just like when you have something good, why do you insist on fucking with it till no one plays it anymore?
Yeah.
And so I really hope that with Realm Royale they take a more thoughtful approach to like, oh cool, people, it's catching on, people are playing it. Now we're gonna add loot boxes and completely change the way loadouts work. Like, no, like fucking people are playing your game. Why are you doing that?
Like, I think that's why people like it too, because you get to choose a class at the beginning,
Right.
and they have clearly defined what they do, so you can choose how you want to play.
Right. And one thing they did right from the beginning, right off the bat, is they have squads.
Yes.
That honestly makes a huge difference because a lot of people are intimidated to play battle royales by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, if you've never played it before, you're just gonna get your ass handed to you for like 2 hours straight and then log off. But if you can jump in your first time with a couple of friends so that you can, you know, lean on the experience of others, it definitely makes the barrier of entry easier for some people. It's less intimidating, I feel. Anyway, that was a huge tangent, but coming back to what I was saying, I look for a lot of the indie stuff, and this was one. I love it when they do this, where like during E3, they're like, "Oh yeah, here's a game, and it's out right now. We just released it on Steam."
Mm-hmm.
So this was one of them. It's a platformer. One of the thing that excites me about this game is how it works. Is every time you kill, from what I understand, every time you kill a boss, rather than it giving you an upgrade, I think you get like some type of upgrades or abilities or whatever, but every time you kill a boss, it distributes quote unquote that boss's power and energy to all the other enemies in the game. So every time you kill a boss, everything in the game gets harder.
I don't know about that.
So I don't know.
Action horror world where enemies get power-ups and you don't. It's
Yeah.
an interesting concept, to say the least.
So like it's pure mechanics. Like you can't rely on like getting a good build or finding a good item or whatever. Like you just have to be good at the game. Oh, and enemies don't have like predictable spawns. Like generally most like roguelikes or platformers, you know like what enemies are going to spawn where. That doesn't it, like enemies can literally come from anywhere, and that's why they called it a horror game. That's why they put it in the horror genre, because the enemies like right here, this dude's walking in the grass, like an enemy can just pop out of the ground and like hit you in the face.
Yeah, the title works very well because as you keep killing these bosses, the enemies are gonna keep getting tougher and tougher.
Exactly. So overwhelmed, like you're you're literally making the game harder by playing it. So it's a cool idea. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see it getting really popular, kind of like Risk of Rain.
Yeah,
I know
because of the challenge.
Yeah, the community grew up around it because it's like, how hard can you make the game and still keep going?
Oh yeah, because Risk of Rain has that whole timing mechanic.
Yeah, I remember when I was playing the beta, it was like I was in a single run for like 70 minutes, and it's like way past where like the max difficulty was, where it's just like spooky I can see you, and it's so like multiple bosses are spawning. But it was funny because I got to that point because I was able to just basically bug the game by doing dodges, and they could never hit me while dropping a bomb. And I was like, I want to see just how crazy this is gonna get.
Yeah, so I mean there is definitely a market for that, for the sadistic ones among us who want to punish themselves. So that one's exciting. Obviously another one that's super exciting. I don't know if it has a Steam page yet, but the Ori sequel.
Oh yeah, Ori 2.
I don't think does it not have a Steam page yet? It doesn't look like it.
Probably not.
Do you remember what it's called, the actual title?
Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Looks like it's coming out next year.
2019. I loved the first Ori. I mean, just the fluid gameplay, like the charm, like I don't know, it was just so well made. Other than there was a couple water parts that gave me flashbacks to the underwater Ninja Turtles levels. Have you ever played the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for NES?
I might have.
So here, I'm gonna pull it up. I had no problem beating like the first section of that game. There's an underwater level that's notorious for being one of the hardest fucking levels on the planet. And
why is it always water levels?
Exactly.
I mean, I know why. It's because water levels in general at that time was just awful.
So this right here.
Mechanics of it.
So you have to navigate this underground labyrinth and dodge these shock things, and then you have to defuse like a certain amount of bombs. Plus it's timed. So that's already making it terrible. So even if you have all 4 turtles, oh, and then that electric stuff, that kills you too instantly if you touch it. These ones shock you and you take damage. Those other ones are like tendrils and they just grab you and you die instantly. I'm pretty sure, if I remember right. But it's also a maze. Like, it's non-linear.
Oh. Okay, that's awful.
Yeah, so you basically have to swim around this giant underwater floaty mechanics non-linear maze, find all the bombs, and defuse them before time runs out, or you just die. And you lose. See, there's these weird angled swimmy sections you have to go through. And so I made a joke on my... In fact, I think I made a clip out of it. Let me see if I can pull it up. There was a section in Ori where you had to swim through like some seaweed that hurt you or something.
Oh, I hate those.
It was reminded me of the Ninja Turtles one. I'll see if I can find it real quick. A podcast within a podcast.
Yeah, I found I dislike mechanics so much when it's like, you're going to take damage here. It's like, no, I don't want to. Like, it's nice when it's like at least an Easter egg, but when it's like, no, you will take damage here, or you will get killed here in order to advance the plot. It's like, why?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where it is. I made a highlight of it, but I can't find it. But anyway, that was the only part of that game. The water sections, I was like, I could do without this. If you're like, it's usually an afterthought a lot of times. Like, they don't actually take the time to like think about the mechanics of the underwater stuff. It was okay, but I was like, it just felt unnecessary to be like, oh, and here's like, because there's only a couple of them in the game where it's like, oh, here's a water section.
It's like, how do we ruin the pacing for this game?
Exactly. That being said, a really cool Metroidvania that's entirely underwater, if you've never played it, it's $10. It's called Aquaria. This game, like, if any game wants to add water mechanics, just steal them from this game. Like, if you want to put a water section in your game, just steal the water mechanics from this and call it a day. Because this game was it was an entire Metroidvania underwater. And you, like, have different, like, you can turn from a light to a dark mode. There's all these like abilities you unlock and bosses and stuff. It's a really, really cool game. But we'll see in the new one. It looks like there was some water stuff. That's the only thing I'm like, I don't know. But the game's so damn beautiful.
Yeah.
Just artistically. It's a magical wonderland. And the original. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, from what I've seen, it's like they just took all the existing mechanics and just improved upon it, like so much better.
Yeah, I did. The first time I played the original on the PC, I couldn't play it. I actually was like super frustrated because there was a bug in the game that would like flip my entire screen upside down. It was like the weirdest bug. Every couple minutes, my entire screen would just like invert.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, what type of thing would cause that?
I have no idea. I've never seen a bug like that before, but I bet you could Google it because I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one. They eventually patched it, I believe, but it ruined the game for me. I couldn't play it. Oh, this is the teaser. This isn't the gameplay one. Where's the gameplay one? That's what I want. Oh, gameplay trailer. I mean, the teaser is cool, but any of everyone go watch that for yourselves. Just the movement too is so well done. The animations.
Yeah, the lighting effects, everything.
It's little owl daddy. This isn't. Where's my gameplay? Oh, there we go. It's got some like Donkey Kong kart levels.
Yeah, the upside down cart.
I just saw the Donkey video today, and he was like flipping out about the upside down cart.
Yeah, you like directly called it like the Donkey Kong thing too.
Yeah. Well, that was those levels were fun. I remember that from Donkey Kong Country.
Mm-hmm.
They can get annoying because sometimes there's like that one section that you can't get past, and you have to play it like 7 times. But in general, they're just kind of fun.
When you just gotta learn like at what exact moment you need to jump, just like grab the last banana.
Yep. So I guess you could make the same complaint with cart levels, as they kind of mess up the pace, but sometimes it's a welcome change.
Mm-hmm. When they're done well, it's a lot of fun. Water levels are just not fun a lot of the time.
Right. The lighting is just so insane.
Mm-hmm. Everything about it just works.
Yep.
So well together.
So if it's just a better Ori, it's gonna kick ass. It's gonna be successful. What about you? Any games on your list that you're excited about?
Ooh, so many. I think I'm gonna have to start with the one I was super hyped about, and then I was like, oh man, and now I'm just like, it could be good, which is Fallout 76.
Yeah, well, because of the whole, I know a lot of people were super upset about the whole always online thing.
Because it's like, if I wanted to play Rust, I would just play Rust.
Right.
But there's a lot of information coming out about it. Like, let's see, I remember I posted a link somewhere. Okay, that was to the video. Where it was essentially talks about like what type of PvP like interaction there's going to be between players. But no one is quite sure how it's going to work. Because Todd Howard was saying, like, we want PvP to happen because drama between players is fun and interesting, but we don't want it to be griefing. But it's like, it's people you're dealing with.
Right.
They'll grief like for the sake of griefing, like no matter what the disincentive is about it.
That's just human nature.
Yeah. But then everything about it, I'm really interested in it. I tweeted about it when it was shown, where I said it looks like they wanted to make a new IP, but they were too scared to put it out there, so they slapped Fallout on it. Because I like everything about it. It just seemed like they just slapped Fallout on it. Because I was reading some of the new info, and the thing I noticed was how when you nuke an area, it adds new stuff, like harder enemies, new like loot and stuff, because at the core of what I think it's going to be is basically something like Rust, where you're going around, you're gathering materials, you're building a base, you're getting new weapons and stuff like that. It's like an MMO light.
Yeah. So you're saying if they had released it without the Fallout title and just made it like a new IP, that it might have a different response?
Yeah, I think it would have garnered a way different response.
Yeah,
just because
people just want like a better version of Fallout 3, right? They just want like,
yeah, they want the next like New Vegas,
right?
Because I know a lot of people were saying like, oh, you're mad just because they're exploring a new genre, and it's like, no, it's because Fallout at its core is like this RPG.
It's a different game.
Yeah. Which like I'm cool that like they're experimenting with this, but it's like a lot of people, and me included, we were like, it's gonna probably be a cool game like Fallout 4, but it's not gonna be a good Fallout.
Right.
Let's see, what else was there? Let's see. Metro Exodus, that one's coming out next year, but I've been hyped about that since like last year. Want to see more stuff about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Last Light, I mean, the so far they've been pretty consistent.
Mm-hmm.
They're good games, a lot of fun action with twists, and they have to do some unconventional things.
Yeah, what I liked about Last Light was how the hard mode wasn't just, oh, enemies have more health and like they do more damage. It's like, no, it's stuff like you don't have a HUD. Like if you're gonna navigate, you have to pull out your compass. Like when you swap out a mag, like you're gonna lose all the bullets that were left in there. So you had like bullet management, stuff like that was really interesting.
Yeah.
The Ranger mode. And then this one, it's like, it's Metro, but more open world was what I think they were getting at. Like larger open spaces and stuff.
Yeah. By the way, this song, I'm pretty sure, let me turn it up.
Or out of fear. We will not falter.
I'm pretty sure this song is from the, it's in the Snatch soundtrack from the movie Snatch.
Let's move out, Artyom.
Yep, it is. Yeah, this song is, that's like one of my favorite movies of all time, so I recognize that song. I noticed that they're like some of the songs they've been using for a lot of these trailers this year have been really good. Like I posted that one in the Discord, Zeal and Ardor, that they used. That's like a pretty abstract group, and I thought that was cool that they got used in a yeah, when Mickey gets knocked out. Exactly, when One Punch Mickey knocks him out or whatever. So I don't know. I've noticed this year in particular, a lot of the music they've been using is appealed to me a lot. It's not all just fucking like dubstep and stuff. You know, like they're taking a little more artistic freedom with the types of music that they put in these trailers and stuff. Because in the past, I mean, some people did it. Like I know one of them that stands out to me like was Borderlands. Like they always had really fun, interesting songs in their trailers, and then like most of the other IP was just like wah, 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 wah. Like there was a period there where everything was fucking EDM and dubstep. So I'm glad to see it come back around to a little bit more like ambient, kind of some more rock, more just kind of, I don't know. They're taking more liberties with music, I feel like, and that's a good thing.
Especially when like your entire gaming experience changes a lot depending on the music.
Yeah, if this same exact trailer, if it would have been like it would have been like,
yeah, you're just like, what is happening?
Yeah, it would have been way too frantic. Like the juxtaposition between like the laid back music and the severity of what's happening on screen, that's awesome because it's like this really like laid back song that kind of builds, but you see all this crazy stuff happening. So I like that. I don't know. I think it's cool.
It's probably why a lot of people buy the original soundtracks in a lot of games.
Oh, yeah.
Because when the game music is good, it's good enough to listen on its own.
Oh, who was it? There was a trailer. Oh, no, it was somebody took recently. It was an interesting one because it completely changed the experience. They took the music from Interstellar, the main theme from Interstellar, and they put it over the tower scenes from Game of Thrones. You know, the time travel dream sequence tower scenes from Game of Thrones. I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones, but
no HBO.
And well, they're like really, really like plot central, important, like emotional scenes. And someone put the music of Interstellar on top of it. So you could probably look it up. I think it was on YouTube. Someone on Reddit posted it, and it completely like I mean, the essence of what's happening is still there, but the emotion of the scene was completely changed because of the building hype, like, you know, that do 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 do. The Interstellar music is just like really perfect. I don't know, it fit really well, and it changed the way that scene felt entirely.
Yeah. And it's funny, speaking of Mickey, the new Kingdom Hearts, even though I don't follow the game at all, nor
yeah,
have
me
I
neither.
any of them, it's just weird watching that and being like, okay, there's Elsa. Oh, there's Anna. And now there's like, who's this? Like, what is happening here?
Again, going back to Donkey, I think it's funny. He pointed out that like it's the cartoon character version of everyone except Jack. Like,
yeah, except Johnny Depp.
Captain Jack Sparrow is like it's like the human version looking. Like even the humans in that game don't look like humans. They all look like cartoon characters. And then Captain
Johnny
Jack
Depp walks up.
And then Captain Jack Sparrow is like 100% human in the game.
It's
oh,
like,
here's a Pirates of the Caribbean trailer actually. So yeah, you've got all these stylized characters. Like even the humans have like huge eyes and spiky hair and all this stuff. And then all the pirates are like hyper like realistic human looking characters. Like look at this. Why?
Yeah. It's like you're in a game universe with Goofy, Donald, Mickey, with Disney characters, but they're like Pirates of the Caribbean. They all have to look realistic. They all have to look like their human counterparts.
I mean, I guess the whole part of the game looks realistic, even the ships and stuff, but still, it feels out of place compared to the whole rest of the game.
Yeah, it feels like outside of the aesthetic that they were going for. Because see, they got Sora like right here doing combat, but then it's like, it feels out of place.
Yeah.
But I know there's a lot of people that were like super looking forward to this game.
No, yeah, I played the first Kingdom Hearts, like, honestly, exactly what happened. I played the first Kingdom Hearts when I was a kid when it came out, and I got stuck on some level. I couldn't figure out where to go or what to do, and I never played the game again. I just was like, nah, I'm done. I think I rented it. I don't think I ever owned it. I don't remember, but I remember getting, like, super duper stuck somewhere and just being like, I had, like, so many other games to play that I was just like, this is cool, but I guess I wasn't that invested in the Square or Disney world at the time, so it didn't. That's why a lot of people play these games is because of the content, right? Because the plot's all over the place. Like the story is like super convoluted, like especially when you get into like the 2.5 HD remix and stuff. Like I've
like
tried.
I remember the marketing, and it was like 365 divided by 2, and I was like, what?
I was like, I have no idea what's going on. Like it's so
like, what does that mean? But then when you know the lore, you're like, it makes perfect sense because of this and that, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, the people who are into it, like I guess it's awesome for them, but like they lost me like way back. Like I guess I just didn't keep following it, so I fell off the wagon.
Yeah, like the video I saw by ProZD like perfectly encapsulated what I thought watching that when it was released, because he's just like, oh, they put Elsa in the game, but then a different person runs into the room and he's like, Aqua got Norded, and he's just like, that's just sounds, that's not words.
Yeah, I have no idea what that means.
And then I finally found it later on Twitter. Someone put the explanation. They were like, because they put the lore, and they're like, okay, look, Aqua was the girl in these games. She sacrificed herself to save him, and Norded is a shortened form of the bad guy's name, which means she got converted to the dark side. And I was like, that makes still no sense, but at least I somehow have a semblance of what is happening in that trailer.
Yeah. So would that be like Tifa being converted to Sephiroth's team?
It's exactly that. It's essentially she got converted to the dark side. I was like, you could have said that. But instead you said Aqua got Norded, and I'm just
That's
like
funny.
you said, that's just sounds.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole nother lingo for people who are like deep into that stuff, and I just don't have the time for it. It's like, that's cool. You guys have your fun. I'm not gonna poo-poo your party, but like I'm probably not gonna play it. So
yeah, that's one of those things where you go on YouTube and you're just like Kingdom Hearts lore, and then you find a 40-minute video and you're like, okay, I'm gonna sit through this and figure out what's going on.
And then like the fanfic and like side theories and all that stuff too. You're just like, man, people go deep on a game about Disney characters.
Yeah.
That's what's kind of like, I'm not trying to talk shit, but it's just like really impressive that like people have gotten so into that IP.
Mm-hmm. And I can see why it's interesting, but it's just like the fact that the Disney characters are there throws me off so much.
Yeah,
I can't take it serious when Goofy shows up and he's just like, Gok Sora.
Well, and I wonder if the creators even realized how deep, like how into those. I think when they made those games, they were like, oh, this will be a fun kind of like crossover game, and then like people just like ate it up, and I wonder if they anticipated how deep it was gonna go with the fan base, because like at first when it came out, I compared it to like Mario RPG, which was just like, hey, it's a fun crossover between Square and Mario characters, and they, and everyone really enjoyed it and whatnot, but like it didn't garner the same diehard following.
I mean, not a massive following. There's still people that complain that it's like they made Genos for this game and he's never shown up ever again.
That's true. Genos was a cool character. I agree. I did like Mario Party. Or sorry, Mario RPG.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, moving on. I want to play this game because I want to take out my aggression by eating people.
Oh, you play as a shark.
Yeah. Have you seen this trailer?
No, I was reading the description. I was like, you were cut from your what? Huh?
Yeah.
Cut from your mother's body and left to die. Wait a minute.
You should unmute the stream if you've got it up, and you should watch this trailer.
Close your eye.
Or just watch it yourself while I have it up.
Imagine a place where the sun is bright and the beaches are white. A place filled with southern charm, where the water is as warm as the welcome. So come feel the wind in your sails. Kick back and relax. Enjoy the local cuisine. Your dream vacation is waiting for you here on the Gulf Coast. Go to maneatergame.com now to book your vacation. Operators are standing by.
So yeah, I want to jump out of the water and
Eat some fools.
bite off some faces.
Very interesting.
I mean, what's gonna determine whether or not I buy this will be the price tag, because like if it's not gonna have some depth or replayability, but it's got like just 15 different levels with environments where you get to play through them. I mean, I'll drop like $15-$20 for this, but we'll have to see how deep the game is. If they try and put a big price tag on it, I'll probably wait till it's on sale or something. But it's a fun concept. I don't know.
Yeah, I've always liked those games where it's like you're gonna eat stuff and get bigger and stronger, because that just like it fulfills like a primal need of like, I want to get stronger like super fast without a lot of effort.
Well, and I do like that there's different environments. Like there was one part where there was eating like an alligator or a crocodile, and then there's screenshots here with whales and like different environments and swamps and you're not only dealing with humans, you're dealing with other underwater animals. So I mean, there's a lot they could do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it says it's an RPG, so I'm guessing you either single-player action RPG. So I'm wondering if it's RPG, I wonder if there will be some type of progression as far as like maybe at the beginning you're too small to like eat people or something, and you have to like. Yeah. So it definitely has potential. So that one's a wait and see for me based on the price tag. Most likely I'll pick it up if they don't try and ask like. If it's under, I would say if it's under 25, I'd probably buy it. If it's like $30, probably wait for it to go on sale. If it's anything, anything over that, I'll probably just say nah.
Yeah, like especially with the Steam sale coming up, I'm probably gonna stock up on some games that people have been saying are worth a shot, and I'll be playing those for like the next few months.
Yeah. And then the last one for me, I mean, I could talk about Fist of the North Star, but this one right here is probably my friend Pedro. Have you seen this? I think
I have.
I saw this live during the E3 thing, and I almost shit my pants just because it's so fun to watch. And if it's half as fun to play as it is to watch, I am super duper excited. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I saw it purely because of the Donkey video, because I didn't watch the Devolver conference. I missed it.
Yeah.
But when I saw the part where he throws the pan into the air and bounces the bullets off of it, I remembered a video I saw with that exact same mechanic, and I was like, "Is this the game that turned into?"
Yeah. Maybe. So speaking of which, that reminded me. Sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I gotta say, Devolver, we get it. Like, it was funny last year. It just felt really kind of worn out. Like, they tried to do the whole like shocking like thing again, and like calling out their audience for being like, I don't know, the whole like self-aware, breaking the fourth wall kind of like. making fun of the conference and and just like the hyper violence. Like it was funny last year, and I don't know. It just it I didn't like it.
Yeah, I think it worked out really well for them last year because overall it felt more corporate. A lot of people were just like in suits and showing off the games. And then this girl's on stage bleeding from the nose talking about video games and gamers. And you're like,
Yeah.
what is happening?
Yeah, this time it was just too much, and I felt like it was trying too hard.
Yeah, like you did it once. It's not going to capture that same magic.
Like you're just trying to be edgy. Like you're not actually being edgy. You're just, if anything, you're just being annoying.
Yeah, like the only part I saw was where the guy in the audience was like, it's pronounced JIF because it's an acronym, and the guy that made the acronym decides what it is, and he said it's JIF for some reason.
Right.
And then she like kills the guy, and I was like,
right.
What does that have to do with video games?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's like that kid you knew in school who like did something funny once and everyone laughed, and so then he just keeps doing it every day, like, and
oh yeah.
and it's just like it's not funny anymore, dude. Like,
it's like, we get it, you peaked. Calm down.
I don't know. It just didn't do it for me this year. So, but that being said, some of their game stuff was exciting, and this was one of them. My friend Pedro. I am excited about this. I love Devolver's titles. I think they just need to chill out on the PR stuff and not try and be so fucking edgy all the time.
Yeah, I think they were like, "Oh, we're that publisher now, so we're gonna act like that." It's like, no, please don't.
Yeah,
just keep finding good indie titles to push.
So, have you watched this whole trailer?
I haven't. I've only seen the parts from the donkey video.
Hey, Peter, this content's got a copyright on it.
So yeah, like in that part where he's on a skateboard, it might be easier to do it that way.
Well, I'm wondering. I noticed whenever he does spread his hands out in each direction, they're at the same angle. So I'm wondering if there's maybe a modifier where like maybe you hold right trigger, maybe like the right analog stick controls both guns. And then if like they usually just shoot the same direction at the same angle, but I'm wondering if like you hold right trigger, they go out in both directions, and then the right stick just controls the angle.
Yeah,
because it looks like when they're spread out, they're always at the same angle. Like like right there, there's a good example.
Especially since they clearly designed the levels with that in mind. So for the most part, it's not going to be difficult to shoot at two enemies like that.
Right. In the whole trailer, I don't think there's anywhere where the guns, when he has them pointing in opposite directions. See, even right there, he's flipping, but both guns are pointed down at like a 45-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing that's probably how they do it. It's probably one analog stick, and then you can choose if you want them to shoot in the same direction or at cross directions. Oh, maybe not. Right there, one's pointing up and one's pointing down.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So,
guess we'll find out when it's out.
Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, that one looks just like stupid fun, just for I don't know. And it does have bullet time as a tag, which it has that slowdown. I wonder if you'll have control of that mechanic, or if it's like some games where like as soon as you enter into combat it slows down, or when you start shooting it slows down.
Yeah, like when you jump it starts the bullet time, stuff like that.
Oh, that's funny. Did you see that? I thought this was text. It must be a picture. Oh, this bottom
the banana.
The bottom one's a picture. But they tried to make it match the text so that it come out again. Where'd you go?
It slightly doesn't fit because of the resolution, but
yeah, it's a little blurry.
Scrolling through.
Well, no, I think that's because I have it. I manually zoomed in the page. I bet if I set it to the default, you can't tell at default res.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I have it zoomed in, so the text doesn't lose fidelity, but the image does.
Yeah, and then the banana just peers through.
I want to know how the banana fits into the whole. Blood
like,
bullets bananas. Like there's no, I didn't see a banana in the actual trailer.
Yeah, it just said sentient banana.
Yeah.
It's like, why? What does it mean for the story?
maybe they captured the sentient banana and you have to.
Is the banana Pedro? Is that it?
Maybe. He is the end boss. Lies. It says he's a friend.
Yeah,
Room
my
temperature
friend-
juice box, by the way. It has been a while. Thanks for stopping by. I started doing a podcast on Wednesday nights. Sorry you showed up probably when we're getting close to ending. We were just talking about some E3 stuff we're excited about, but he is the enemy. I don't know. It says friend. So anything else? Anything? I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I was particularly excited about.
I mean, I don't know about you, but Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
See, I'm not a
Probably.
Smash guy.
Oh, see, I'm not that big of a Smash guy either, but whenever me and my friends get together, the one game we could all play on equal footing was Smash. Because you turn on those items, it doesn't matter how good Henry is.
That's true.
It's balanced.
Yeah. I have a friend and coworker who is one of those guys who is a die-hard Melee player. He only plays Melee and he plays in tournaments and all this stuff, and he says it's like Melee is like the only Smash worth playing because they have like Z cancels and shit.
Wave
like,
dashing.
Yeah, like and so so I asked, we watched the trailer. We had it, up at work. We were kind of watching E3 because, we're software developers, so we watch a lot of the tech stuff going on while we're working. And we were all watching like some of the E3 stuff at work, and I was asking him about it, and he's just like, "No, I'm probably not going to play it." I'm just like, so I don't know.
An opinion I saw of it was like, because they redid a lot of the mechanics in it to allow for more like aerial stuff and stuff like that.
Right.
And it was something like, if they changed like the aerial stuff to more like this, I would definitely see some people switch from Melee, just because it's more upgraded and has many of the same features.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, first of all, I don't own a Switch yet.
Yeah,
so.
me neither. But that is why it was like the premier game we all played, because my one friend had the Wii U with like a bunch of controllers, so it was he just has to bring it, and that's good for 8 people.
Yeah. But yeah, I actually want to have that friend / coworker on the podcast. I think because it's fun. He like gets all hyped about it and likes to talk about it and explain like why Melee is the best. I think it'd be fun to have him on. Because he has opinions about other things too, but one of them is Melee, and he's actually been training to get better and trying to win some of the local Melee tournaments and stuff. So I
think the biggest thing I know people freaked out over was the Ridley reveal, and people lost their minds.
Oh yeah, I know. I was in the Twitch channel, the E3 coverage Twitch channel when they showed it, and it was just like the chat was just like just Ridley. Oh my god.
And just the way they revealed him too, because it's like he snatches Mega Man, pierces through his chest, he crushes Mario's skull, and it's like Ridley joins the fight, and you're just like, what?
But I will say, I think it also kind of suffers from the same problem that we just talked about with the whole Captain Jack in the cartoon universe.
Yeah.
Like Ridley's such a badass, rough around the edges kind of character that he almost feels out of place because all the other characters are very cartoony and stylized and stuff. Even Bowser is fluffy looking, So
yeah, it's we're used to Samus in that aesthetic, but then it's Ridley, who just looks like he's fine in the Metroid games, but then you put him in a Smash and he feels out of place, he looks too realistic.
Yeah, exactly. He seems a little too brutal, I think is the word that I would use compared to the rest of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Browser described as fluffy. He is though. Like look at his character model. Everything's kind of like rounded and like very colorful and stylized and stuff. Like compared to some other depictions of Bowser. I mean, there are a few other characters that do have that kind of brutal aesthetic. Like I guess you could say, you know, Ganondorf has a more realistic kind of especially his like demon form or whatever, but still, I don't know. Ridley just felt a little bit out of place.
Yeah, and that is something that
maybe they did it on purpose, though. I don't.
Oh yeah, possibly. What I liked also was they redid a lot of the Smash, like the final Smashes, so that they were all like high impact, high action. Because something I didn't like with the one Super Smash Brothers Brawl and the one for the Wii U was how some of the Smashes was just like really underwhelming. Where it's like, oh, I have to control my character, but the other people can still dodge it, like even though I'm like this big vortex of like electricity.
Yeah.
But then other ones where it's like you transform, but then their opponents can still like block and then get away. It doesn't feel like a whole lot. Whereas a lot of these ones, they were just like big effect if you land it, and then you like knock them out.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure all my friends that have Switches will probably get Smash. If I get a Switch, we'll see. But if I get a Switch, it's gonna probably be for other things. I'm more of a Mario, Zelda,
Stardew Valley.
Oh, I already have that on PC. Why would I get that on?
Now you can play it on a plane.
That's true, I guess. But a lot of people hate me because I've never really been into a lot of those types of games.
I find it's relaxing, but then it's like, do I really want to just farm? This feels like a chore.
That's my biggest beef with a lot of simulators is there's always a point. We had this conversation before. There's always a point in my mind where it clicks and I say, oh, this is work. And I just don't want to play anymore. You know, whether it's a farming simulator or The Sims or, you know, whatever it is. Like there's a point where I'm like, okay, now I'm stressing about this and it's no longer fun and I'm working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know I was playing it recently, and it's like my whole day is watering these plants because I don't have enough sprinklers. But if I go to get the ore to make more sprinklers, I won't have the income.
Yeah. A lot of games make you feel that way. Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, to me personally, some people like some types of work more than others. Like, I have no problem grinding out a roguelike. I'll play like hundreds of hours of, you know, grinding out Wizard of Legend, and to some people that feels like work, but to me that feels like progress. It feels different because I'm actually honing like my skills. Like, yeah, you're also farming items, but you're also getting mechanically better at the game. Whereas like Stardew Valley, other than like the little dungeon that you go into, there's no like mechanical challenge to it. It's more just time management.
Yeah, and then it's like I can't get any faster at watering these plants.
Yeah, you can't really.
It's like
you can't optimize. There's only so much you can do.
You can upgrade the water pail, but now that's 3 days I'm not watering my plants. Now they're gonna die. I'm gonna lose money. But I see why it's appealing.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, like, because at the end, like, when all your farms are lined up and your systems are working and all that stuff, like, I'm sure it's extremely gratifying. Like, I'll watch other people play it, and it's fun to watch, and it's gratifying and rewarding to see them make that progress. But for me personally, it just doesn't appeal to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the other one that I watch people play all the time? And it just seems like work to me. The one with the gears in the title, or the logo has like a gear in it. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, Factorio?
Factorio. Multiple people are like, dude, you need to play this game. Dude, you need to buy this game. And I watch people play it. I've watched people stream it. And I'm just like, this looks like nothing but work. Because it's just like, oh, shit, I forgot to do this. And now, like, I have to rebuild this over here. And then, like, okay, now that I can do this, now I can do all these other things. And it just, like, it just scales more and more and more. And it's just like, but what's the point? Like, I don't, like...
I mean, I can say from experience, when you finish a playthrough, it's the most satisfying thing. Because you're like, look at all of this garbage. And it somehow worked.
I guess.
And there's also the issue I did have with it, where once you got access to drones, the game felt really easy. Because now you just got the drones like doing everything for you.
Yeah.
Because you could basically set up your entire factory to where a drone would basically move all the items. So it's like all of the monotony of having like a drone put stuff on belt and that completely goes away.
Okay.
But then I see people speedrun that game in like 20 minutes, and I'm like, all right.
This took me 20 hours. Damn it.
Yeah, I remember someone had asked me about it, and they're like, oh, is that any good? And I was like, my first and last playthrough took 22 hours.
Wow.
Because a lot of it is problem solving, because when you do get good at it, you know, like, I need to build 3 of these to match the output of this so I can do that and like be super efficient. And people enjoy that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably get a Switch eventually. I have a Wii U that so I do have my Nintendo itch is being scratched at the moment because I still have games I haven't finished on my Wii U. And I do have the Zelda one, the Wii U version of the Zelda one, so I have had a chance to play that. But I don't know. We'll see. Now, last thing before we close, 2 games that they didn't talk about at E3 directly that they didn't like super plug or anything. Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm super excited about. Probably one of my favorite games of all time. Did they talk about Red Dead at E3 at all?
I don't remember. In the graphic I was looking at to like see what games came out, it did come up.
I don't remember seeing it during the actual conference, yeah. But that game will probably, none of these other games matter. Everything we talked about is a moot point as soon as Red Dead 2 comes out, because that's probably all I'm going to play for a while. I'm super excited about that game. I played the shit out of the first one. That's the one game, if they ever made like a really good VR version of Red Dead, I might just starve to death. I might actually just stop my real life and just live in Red Dead land. Because something about that universe that they created in that first game just really, really appealed to me. It felt amazing to play.
Yeah, it was a fun game. I remember playing it when it came out on like the PlayStation 3, and I was like, this is what it means to be a cowboy in the Wild West.
It had that feel, because like you can just like slowly trot your horse into like the middle of nowhere, and just like every once in a while you get that twang on the guitar, and it's like, and then you hear the train coming off in the distance, and like you go too far from the city and a bobcat tries to eat your ass. Like, I don't know, it just had all of the correct pieces to make it feel like the Wild West and make it just like, I don't know. Yeah, if they ever make a VR version of Red Dead, that'll probably set me back a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other one that has not been mentioned by anyone that I am most excited about, and I'm going to keep talking about this game until it comes out, and if it sucks, I'm going to be really upset about it. And I wonder if they showcased it at all at E3. It's a game called Chasm. It was a Kickstarted game that Sony ended up, I think, either buying the studio or funding the studio. And I want this game so bad. I think it's finally coming out this year, and I was hoping to hear something at E3 about it. But it's a Metroidvania, roguelike, so Roguevania or whatever they're calling them. But it has some interesting things to set it apart from the others. I love the animation style. I love some of the mechanics that I see happening in what little gameplay footage I've seen of it so far. But it says summer 2018. So I'm yeah, I'm pretty excited. The last update they had was on April 2nd, and they said Chasm is coming. Animation of this looks good. Dude, the animation looks amazing. They've put a lot of time and effort into it, and they've done a lot. The one thing that I'm really excited about is they didn't kickstart it, but they have done a ton of internal play testing, and they've been very active in like all of their posts about the development process and like changes they've made after the like rounds of play testing and tweaks and, you know, boss fixes and, you know, oh, we had to change this because we found people were getting stuck at this phase, or like the balance was off. Like, they've been very transparent about a lot of that stuff, which excites me because the fact that they're actually paying attention to a lot of that stuff and doing internal testing rather than just releasing a half-made game in early access and then, you know, just, I don't know. I think they're taking the right approach. I think when it comes out, it's going to be a very solid game.
Mm-hmm. So when you do have that direct feedback, it works out way better than like early access.
Absolutely.
Because there's people that will be like, oh, there was an issue here, but it's nowhere as near as fast or as useful when you have like someone in your same studio telling you.
Right. So that's the last one that I'm gonna put out there. You guys should definitely add it to your wish list. Keep an eye on it. I will be playing it for sure. When it comes out on PC, it's on the top of my list to play. Luckily, I have Wizard of Legend holding me over till then. I've been grinding that out. I finally beat my first run last night.
Oh, I saw the clip.
Yeah, I made a highlight of it. I was very proud of myself.
I still have yet to beat a run.
It's challenging. But I feel like the progress is steady. Like, I feel like I get a little further, I get a little better. I learn the enemy's attacks a little more each time. It's not unfair, but it is hard.
Yeah, the only part that's getting me is like I keep seeing items and I'm like, what does this do? And then I buy it and I was like, that was a waste of money.
That you just described every roguelite ever.
Yeah.
There is a wiki. Some people prefer to use the wikis. I don't. I love to memorize the items. I played Binding of Isaac so much without the wiki that I pretty much know all of the items. I can recognize whether or not I want to pick something up. And to each his own. For some people, that is part of the appeal of roguelites.
The learning process.
The learning curve. Because the same thing is true of, what's the other one you mentioned? The side-scrolling multiplayer one?
Oh, Risk of Rain?
Risk of Rain. That same thing. Like, you know, you run into all these crazy items and you're like, do I want this? What does this do? Should I buy that one or this one?
Yeah, because I remembered I picked up an item and it was like, you can no longer gain charge for your thing, but you get like more of this. And I was like, oh, nice. And then I bought an item and it said the exact opposite. And I was like, oh, well, those canceled out. That was a waste.
But it's often a pleasant surprise. Like, the run I won last night was because I bought a cursed item that took half my max health away. But every time I killed an enemy, it increased my max health after that. So, like, if you get it early enough, you can actually end up with more health by the end of the game. But you have to survive long enough, right?
Yeah, because I got one similar where it was like, you lose half your HP, but now you get more money. But I was like, oh. Nice.
So I got that one. It's called a Crocodile Heart, where you lose half your max HP, but you gain a slight amount of max HP back every time you kill an enemy. And then I also got the Carrot Cake, which increases your max HP every time you take damage. So I got both of those in the same run. By the end of the run, I had like 840 max HP. I couldn't even fill it up though. Like, even though I was trying to heal as much as possible, I think by the time I got to the last area, I had like 400 or 500. I couldn't even fill my health bar all the way because my max HP had gone up so much. But like, I picked both of those items up pretty blindly, and it just happened to work out. So, you know, you have those fun moments where things like that happen. And that's part of the reason I love the genre, is because it's always different. The replayability is infinite. Like, you can still play. Even after 1,000 hours of Binding of Isaac, you can play a run and have a unique experience. So,
and then you can see how Northern Lion is able to capitalize and make tons of money off of it.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that's a Cobalt Streak. Like, he pretty much plays Binding of Isaac like 98% of the time. Sometimes he'll play something else, but he can keep playing that one game over and over because he's the Binding of Isaac streamer, and the game is infinitely changing. So he can just play that game. You know, like, you can't do that with a lot of games. You can't just like play Sleeping Dogs or what's the other one? Sleeping Dogs over and over and over again, because eventually you'll memorize the game and it won't be fun to watch anymore. Like, it'll just get boring. But roguelites solve that problem. Which wasn't there a major studio that announced that the next game was going to be roguelite?
No idea.
It was one of the E3 titles. It was a big one too. It like takes place on the moon and it's going to have roguelite elements.
Oh, the new Prey DLC.
Prey. Yeah. So I mean, there you go. The AAA or the bigger studios are starting to see, just like, you know, with Battle Royale. I think you're going to see more roguelite elements making it their way to some of these bigger titles.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised. Like, similar to how a lot of like FPS games started adding RPG elements with leveling up and getting perks and like stats and stuff like that.
Yep. All right, James. We did it. It was a good podcast, and we had very few. I think I had few like pre-planned topics this time.
Oh yeah, definitely. We had like 3.
So
we were stretch them out, bring in new stuff on the fly. It's easy.
So I'm gonna make the same plug that I've made the last few weeks. This podcast is something I'm really trying to take seriously and do every week. And get guests, get topics, get questions, find interesting things. And I don't want it to just be a game-related thing. I really want to start branching out and talking about other things, other industries. You know, politics maybe a little bit, like the whole California thing we talked about today. But if anyone out there is interested in being a part of what we're doing here, please reach out to me. If you want to be a guest, if you know someone that would be a good guest, if you've got interesting topics, we have a channel in the Discord called Podcast Topics. So hit me up in there or DM me or anything. We would love to continue to make this podcast interesting for you guys. And, you know, being the content creator, it's hard for James and I every week to always have something new to talk about. So we would love some feedback. We'd love some ideas. We'd love to hear what you guys think of what we're doing here and ways we can improve it. And, you know, guests, like I said, whatever. I want to really try and make this a thing. And once I've been telling James this, once I have about maybe 10 to 20 episodes, I'm going to look at syndicating it on some other platforms, possibly YouTube, SoundCloud, some of the RSS feeds that are out there for actual like audio podcasts, so you can download it on your phone or whatever. This is going to be an actual podcast, so this is only the beginning, and I appreciate those of you who have been here supporting me through this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So on that note, James, anything you wanna say or plug or
I guess we can leave off with anime weeb fighting game. It's probably going to be great, but I have nothing else that I know about that.
What is it going to be called?
I think it's like Jump Impact or something.
Yeah, isn't it kind of like it's like a Smash but with all the different anime characters, right?
Yes. And everyone I keep talking to about it, I bring up, well, it's ruined because they put Goku in it, so the power level's broken.
I mean, it's a cool idea. There's definitely a market for it. There's a lot of weebs out there who would play it just because it's anime. Whether or not they even like fighting games, I think there's a lot of people out there who would probably enjoy it. Cool. Yeah, no, I forgot about that one. It'll be really interesting if they do it right. It'll be interesting to see which approach they take mechanics wise. Will they appeal to like the more casual, like Smash Bro type audience, or are they gonna go more like the DBZ hyper, Street Fighter audience? I don't know. So, good point. Yeah, maybe we'll keep an eye on that one. But thank you guys. We'll be back next week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, for another podcast. And again, I've got a lot of guests lined up. It's just been a crazy month, but I'm gonna start creating a calendar so you guys can know ahead of time who's gonna be on when. I'm hoping to get Sammy and Tusdar in here during this month while they're doing their special event, but I'll keep you guys posted. So make sure you're in the Discord. So you can be aware of those updates, and I hope you guys have a good night.
And see you tomorrow for Thirsty Thursdays.
Oh, actually,
right here.
Bad news. Thirsty Thursdays canceled. I know. I'm sorry. Way to end on a sad note.
My heart, Jimmy.
No, yeah, that's why I didn't plug it. I'm actually going to be hanging out with Meshyf tomorrow night. There's a company picnic that so Lady Navio and Meshyf both work for the same company. I mean, this is the last week she's going to work there. She's officially going to no longer work there anymore. But so this is her last company picnic. So I wanted to go and show my support, hang out with Meshyf. She can say her farewells to all her coworkers and stuff. So I'm going to be there tomorrow night. I'm going to be an hour and a half away from my home at a company picnic, hanging out with a bunch of car sales nerds and Meshyf, which he's also a car sales nerd, so I guess he fits into that description. But there'll be delicious food and good times. Maybe we'll post some pictures in the IRL channel. Maybe we'll live stream for like 5 minutes until our significant others get mad at us and tell us to put our phones away.
We'll IRL company picnic.
But yeah, no Thirsty Thursday tomorrow, guys. Sorry about that. We'll be back next week, though. And maybe I'll try and sneak a ninja stream in on the weekend in the evening or something to make up for it. But I will not be on tomorrow. But next week, podcast here, Wednesday, 6 p.m. If not, I am organizing these podcasts in a collection on my video page. In fact, I'm going to pull it up so you guys can see. A lot of people don't know that with the collections, it's kind of cool. I set it up this way on purpose because I wanted people to be able to do this. It tracks the ones that you've played and haven't played, and it also lets you play them as a collection. So if you come up here when it loads, if you hit play all, it'll actually start from the very beginning of the very first episode or wherever you left off, and it'll just play through all the podcasts. And then if you hover over this guy, it actually brings up this nice menu with all the podcast episodes numbered and named and screenshotted and everything right there. So, like, if anyone wants to go back and just dive into the podcasts, they're nice and organized there for you on the videos page. But keep an eye out. Like I said, once we have 10, 20 episodes, we're going to start syndicating them somewhere, probably on a few different platforms. But for now, you can find them there on the podcast collection on my video page. So have a good night, everyone. Maybe we'll find someone to raid or host.
Maybe one of the download guys.
Oh, are they on?
I hosted It's a Mobius Life the other day.
He's a great. His artwork is fantastic. Oh yeah, so plug for. Oh,
well, I hosted him. He's like, "Oh, thanks for the host, man. Like, it was pretty big, like 15 viewers." And he was like talking about what he was doing. And he's like, "Wait a minute, do I know you from somewhere?" And then like we were talking, and he was like, "Wait, you're James from Jimmy's podcast." I was like, yes, that's who I am.
You're famous now. That reminds me, just a little plug out to the DLC team. I am a member of Team DLC. Everyone on Team DLC, they're all quality folks. They're nice people. They're super entertaining. They're a little lewd sometimes. DLC does stand for downloadable content. Go check out the team page. Say hi to someone else on there. Maybe we'll see if any of them are on, and we'll give them a little host right now. So DLC, check him out. The DLC wouldn't be possible without Battle Athlete. He is the partnered streamer that makes all this possible to be on that team. And without DLC, I wouldn't have Zoom to use for this podcast either. One of our DLC members, Nero, actually paid for a year license of Zoom so that we could use it for all of our D&D quests and podcasts and things of that nature. So big ups to DLC. None of this would be possible without them. And on that note, we're going to say goodnight. So we'll talk to you guys next Wednesday.
Yep.
See you later.